Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Alligator, and I have the one and only man, the myth, the legend, Grox, today with bringing you all the action. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm good. I'm excited to get back into some Big Ten action. We had a match last week. I'm excited to see how you guys play today, man. I'm hyped.
That's exactly what we are hoping for a very, very hype match. Of course, I'm here representing the University of Minnesota, so we all know who I'm going to be cheering for. Better team, if you ask me. But that's not what we're here to discuss. We are here to discuss this potential matchup, this kind of head-to-head that these two teams might have. So why not start by taking a look at the standings? Of course, we've been doing this for only a week for this semester, but Minnesota and Oregon already having each a win and a loss under their belt. Minnesota with the L, Oregon with a 1-0 record. So why don't you walk me through the players that we're going to be seeing in the server today?
Yeah, so we got a little bit of a new roster today. We got Uguay, he's going to be playing initiator. We have Wakeless, he's coming in as the IGL. He's a senior this year. And then we have three freshmen on the team now. We have Gautam, Ryu, and Muka. And Muka's going to be coming in today. He's actually from our JV team. And he's coming in today to come and fill for our duelist role. So hopefully we'll still be able to, wipe you guys up pretty quickly with a JV player. But no. Seriously, this team is mostly freshmen. They're all relatively untested. We're coming off that win last week, so I hope we can keep the ball rolling.
Oh, we'll have to see how that goes on the side of Minnesota. Of course, we got Crow, Vark, Sarah, Sammy, Gonu, and Ginsburg, which I believe to be the captain and also quite a decent caster, if I'm not mistaken. He has gone on the broadcast for Rocket League for a couple times to cheer on UMN. But we mentioned, the records of these two teams, and I'm taking a look. And Oregon, much to my chagrin, did win their week one matchup against USC after dropping that first map. What happened? 13-3. Care to explain?
Yeah, so I've actually been helping them in a coach role a little bit, and I helped them with Haven, and then we got destroyed on it 13-3, and I haven't helped them since, and they've just been winning. So I'm not too mad about it. But hey, you're gonna talk about our Haven, bro? Come on, man. What about you guys? You guys got 2-0'd.
Okay. They did get 2-0'd, but it was 13-9, 13-9. Okay, they put up quite a fight, and it was against Nebraska, who are, I believe, 2-0 right now. They have beaten both us and USC. So I am willing to give ourselves a pass. That being said, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Because I believe we might be very close, actually, to the start of the game right here. I think we're just waiting on the players to just get going. But why don't you run us through the map set, maybe some predictions of our own? Actually, no, we're gonna get right into it.
Hey, let's
going
stop
to
the
be
talk.
Minnesota.
Let's get into the action. Okay.
Exactly. Minnesota on the offense on the right side of your screen. As you can see, going very, very heavily, very fast. Trying to go here for a be executed, but Muka says, none of that, son. We're going to get you. The Ginsburg gets one back with that shock dart, so maybe silver lining for Minnesota as they back away.
And yeah, that B main fight right there. I'm not gonna say anything, but hey, we did watch some of your guys' VODs, so keep that in mind. Maybe a little bit of anti-stratting going on here. And the UM players, two of them walking away dead, and then now Sova and Cypher both left here with 1 HP. I wonder how they're gonna work this 3v4.
It's going to be certainly interesting to see what they work. It seems like they've got the read to go back to B. We've got an Omen right there watching from Market, but for the rest of the players are very carefully watching mid. Wakeless going to be the lone defender here. There is the sound of a hunt, but it obviously doesn't catch anything. There's a Euro clone over through mid I'm seeing, but now the execute goes onto the side. Wakeless alerted to the presence of 3 UMN players, seen everything, and Muka, oh, that nade is beautiful. beautiful. The combo with Wickles is going to leave Ginsburg on a 1 versus 4 mission. This is the worst case scenario for Minnesota to start the game. A pistol round W for Oregon would make things so much easier for them. The spam through the smoke doesn't come through. Does the camera spot anything? In any case, time is running way too low for our Sova, and he is soon to drop that assure with that aggression from Muka, and he claims the 4th in the round. Beautiful showing right there.
An amazing round out of Muka there. And, you know, getting 4 kills on that pistol round, he's going to be halfway to that showstopper here, that result just off the first round. So that was just a great fight from Oregon into B main. And I think it's interesting to look at this this UM comp, because Yoru's not an agent that you see on this map. It's mostly Raze and Neon. So seeing how they're going to try to work these Yoru TPs, these flashes, these clones, it's a little bit out of meta, so I wonder how exactly they want to play this. And it looks like they want to go for the same kind of control as last round. Oh!
Yeah, you're not getting past that one, son. Muka just on fire. Gets 2 already. One with a nade, one with a close quarters headshot. Gonna get spotted here by the dart. Doesn't really matter as they gather that ult orb. Like you said, for the showstopper now with the aggression. Beautiful blind combo, but is gonna pay for it with this slide. That ultimate is going to be online, like you said, though. So good choice right there, Voxera. The one with the kill is gonna pay with his life. And that is a round for the University of Oregon. Nice and easy. Only 1 player drop.
I mean, you can't do anything with the classics there, like, and that's too hard of a round to go into. But it's just like we talked about, that showstopper is going to be coming into this round. So even though Oregon's going to be on a lesser buy, they have that Razor if they want to try to get something to work. Maybe some sort of push here. It looks like they're grouping towards A, going for A main control as opposed to the B main control they've done these last 2 rounds. So I wonder if they choose to try to invest that Razor this round to try to convert their bonus.
I would not be surprised if we saw it come out after maybe a couple exchanges if they go their way. Muka seeing here the Yoru TP. Gonna destroy, not gonna risk it. So Crow all the way in B main is gonna know that the Ruse has to be spotted, is gonna relay that information to their teammates. Maybe the Bucky here up close, but no, Gonu is going to be good for 1. Uguay though for the trade. Varxera goes down. So that is going to be a big piece of utility in the Gecko Dizzy. Gone for the University of Minnesota as now they back away, trying to decide what to do here, trying to hold on to these more powerful weapons, and maybe 2 players have been spotted. See how drone goes around the corner. Contact going to be here by Sammy, although there are 2 Omen smokes obstruting the vision for the players on both sides. Start playing a little bit of a slower game here, maybe a little bit of chess.
And yeah, losing that Razor, like we were talking about, they're not going to be able to take it forward. And it looks like they have the right read again to go towards the B site here. I think it's interesting that they've ended here twice now. They're going to get a completely free site with Oregon all gamble stacking on the A.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Now Sammy is going to catch the rotator. Gokum absolutely removed from the server, so no information initiator now available for Oregon on this retake. They might just elect to die to the spike to help that economy kick a little bit. And we're seeing this so famous Heretics post plant, if you will, from B main. We're not going to be able to do this for much longer with the Sunset rework incoming, but for now it's all about spamming that spike through the smoke. The stun though is not going to be good enough. Sammy with 1 kill on Wakeless, and now Crow trying to push there. Pays with his life. Ryu the one on the kill, but is it going to be enough for Oregon as a numbers disadvantage is too much? Gonu and Ginsburg clean it out.
Yeah, that B main post plant on Sunset, like, you can't get any more classic Sunset than that. It's just too easy with the spam. You saw Wakeless wasn't even able to even like really get on the spike. He got spammed down to like 2 HP before he even tapped. So good job to convert the first gun round there by Minnesota. Great to get that raise out of the play early. Pick that duelist. Now Oregon had to work, and then that lurk by Cypher there into top mid to kill the initiator, like you said. That was a really good 4v4 coming out of Minnesota right there. I love that round.
They did their job. They had the better guns, and they converted. Now, this is the real question. Both teams should be on equal footing. The only ultimate online in the server, like we said, that Muka race ult, that showstopper, which we know can be so powerful, but also so tricky to hit sometimes. Cyphercam here in long is going to spot at least 2 players, so Ryu backing away. There is a clone and a wingman used to clear this angle, and the Cypher trip going to allow for a little bit of spam. I believe not much HP was lost, maybe just a little bit of shields, and the execute on the side. Now Minnesota exploding. It's going to be a full-on retake from Oregon.
And yeah, this 5v5 retake again, Minnesota with another good read in the round, getting another free sight. We're going to see this Oregon retake come in. Maybe they might use that showstopper we were talking about.
Oh! Sit down, son! Gonu deletes Muka, and now Ginsburg is there for the kills with the help. Rio and Wakeless, though, trying to bring it back. Is going to be a 1 versus 2, and the shock dart takes Wakeless down to 40. This is a very, very heavy task for the controller for the side of the University of Oregon. That's Sova is going to peek for the shock dart for the Recon, actually, and Sammy finishes the job. Tied at 2 apiece for Minnesota.
Yeah. That pick onto the raise there. It's mid-satchel. This guy just absolutely takes this dude out of the air. That was such a good shot. And what a great post plant from Minnesota. Everybody played on site. And they just got another free site without having to expend too much util. So the IGL, what is that, Ginsburg? He's been making good calls so far. They've had 2 free sites now. And it looks like on this eco... It looks like Oregon wants to walk out mid on this eco here with the lesser guns.
I want to go for that, a close contact play. Brave from the University of Minnesota to go a bit more heavily onto B, as you can see there in the minimap. Sammy, though, lurking through a main COD from behind by Muka, so that race is going to be upgrading a weapon. Not really sure if they're going to be there in time. Definitely not to prevent the plan, but we'll have to see how the retake goes. With Uguay going down, though, to the hands of Gonu, this is becoming exponentially harder for Oregon, despite them being at numbers, even numbers.
Yeah, Uguay got caught out on the flank there, and now this retake's going to come in, but Crow, what a good job to get the numbers back in Minnesota's favor. And, hey, it's going to be that post plan again.
Crow just sneaking through the back of the side. They did not expect the Yoru there in a place with his life, but Minnesota have gotten all the kills already, and so it is the lead for the attacking side. Now here on this first map of Sunset, has to be reminded on the Oregon pick.
Yeah, it is the Oregon pick, and we're gonna hopefully see a little bit of changes to this approach to the map. Because right now, I mean, look at the leaderboard. Minnesota has 5 ults. They have every single ult this round. So this is going to be like a pretty big swing round. Oregon's going to get their second gun round right now off the eco. So Minnesota investing some of these ults to win this round is going to be huge. And it looks like they want to fight towards mid. It looks like Minnesota wants to kind of default towards mid again and just let this Yoru work to be main space.
Who's next?
We've got Crow there acting like a human drone, getting all that information. Actually gonna go for the heavy play. Gets one, gonna get the other one. No, Wakeless and Uguay combine it for that kill, though Ginsburg trades with that Sova ultimate. The calls were good from Minnesota. Now the Cypher ultimate has been invested by Ryu, so they know the positioning of the Minnesota players. They have a numbers advantage, though, and this Omen TP is gonna go straight into the A site, which is completely clear. The rotates are going to be coming through, but the plant, crucially, is not until that smoke goes on. And Rio now, presence known at the tripwire is good, Varxera. We'll see you next round.
And now this retake is going to come in this 3v3.
All the action happening on side. Gonu and Ryu are going to be traded back and forth, so it leaves both teams at even numbers. A very similar utility as well. You've got an information initiator and your Cypher, your Sentinel right there, but it is all about defusing that bomb. Who he's going to be able to get the job done, isolating these angles. Ryu gets one, Ginsburg gets the other. Only 2 bullets on Ryu, and now he's going to have to reload. The sound cue is going to come in from Ginsburg. He just has to swing on the contact, and there it is, a headshot. 3 on the round for him to lead Minnesota to a 4-2 now.
And that IGL coming up clutch again there. I mean, first off, great calls out of him. He's able to kill those last 2 in that round to get that clutch through. And, you know, they used 4 ults. Minnesota used 4 ults in that round. And honestly, like, I don't even hate it. They got that swing round. It's going to push Oregon onto a light buy again. And Oregon really needs to go back to the drawing board right now. They're just getting outfought. That fight in B main with the Yoru and the Sova ult was just to get those 2 picks was a great start to the round for Minnesota. And it looks like Minnesota keeps wanting to start with this sort of mid-lean default, make some noise mid. This round, they're going to have 2 walk up into the A main space. They know that this Cypher likes to lean towards A, so they can maybe take this space a little bit easier. And it looks like Minnesota just has a good read on how Oregon's playing the defense.
I do believe the Cypher trips have been shifted around the site by Ryu, maybe expecting a different entry, maybe trying to condition the Minnesota players into being more careful, maybe spending more utility around that exact corner at elbow that the Cypher cam is watching. Now, does the execute come through? Varxera gonna be sending the Dizzy over the top as Crow progresses into side. That Yoru, no fear going inside. The Haunt has been destroyed, so Gokim knows the players are on side. There's going to be stun coming through. Crow already taking down Wakeless. What can the Sheriff do for Ryu? Nothing. 3 go down in the span of a second. That's going to be the 4th. And poor old Muka just going to be waiting to die to the spike. Maybe get some picks if they can over on mid. They do have a Vandal, actually, so I believe they will be saving this rifle.
Yeah, it looks like Muka forced up into this round, tried to do a little hero rifle action, but I mean, in a 1v5, what can you do except for maybe hope to get one trying to leave through A main here? And it's the story of this game, this 5v5 retake again, it just doesn't go in Oregon's favor. I mean, Muka, good pick. This is what he wants right here.
Crispy shots, it has to be said. Oh, Crow trying to go for the pinch. Is Muka aware?
Yeah.
No, actually, you're going to go down to Ginsburg in Maine. Oh, that's tragic for Oregon.
And 5 straight rounds for Minnesota here. Yeah, I'm not surprised at this timeout at all. I think they definitely need this timeout, try to maybe stop some of that momentum. We're going to get another gun round here for Oregon, but 5 straight rounds going Minnesota's way on Oregon's map pick. I mean, just we're seeing some great scenes right here out of Minnesota for sure.
Yeah, the fundamentals seem to be on point. I was going to say exactly, I don't know what the timeout policy is for a big esports conference. I talked to you a little bit before the game. I'm not that familiar with the big Valorant. I'm usually on the Rocket League side, but this was the perfect moment to call a timeout. Maybe if they had won that round, you could have held back on it. You'd be at a 3-4. Instead, they're going to be at a 3-5 big disadvantage. 2-5, sorry, big disadvantage. Makes perfect sense to call a timeout. The question, Grox, from me to you is: what are Oregon's options? What can they do to stop Minnesota here?
I mean, Minnesota's really just doing this sort of mid default. I think Oregon should probably move Cypher back to B now and then prioritize triple fighting for A, because Minnesota knows that they have a certain gap. But I think coming out of a timeout, it looks like Minnesota just wants to maybe do a B brawl here. And Oregon is kind of leaning towards this side again. It looks like Minnesota may just hit his 5 towards B side right now.
Yeah, the gamble stack from Oregon could recover them.
And yeah, Minnesota's going to use that Gecko to take into B main because they know that Oregon likes to play in B main a lot. And yeah, against the Gecko, you have to give it up. So now Oregon's going to play 3 on site. We'll see if Minnesota commit this. They're going to flash out.
Gokim gets the lurk though, so the lurk! Oh, Wakeless! Oh, I don't know if that was through a smoke, but such a good round, such a fast round for Oregon. I mean, what even happened?
I mean, Wakeless, it looked like he lined 3 up there. It looks like he collided at least 2 players there. Literally 3 kills dropping in an instant for the Oregon IGL Wakeless. And there's that adjustment that we see. I know, yeah, he thinks he's 10, so the Omen from Market. Yeah, great round, great hero round from Wakeless. And they decided to try to hold a site as opposed to really investing into, or hold B site as opposed to investing into B main. And it worked out for Oregon there. And now they're going to go for that more defaulty fight A main, take this orb that we see on Sunset traditionally.
Yeah, fighting for that A main orb, so they have the showstopper online. First time around didn't go quite as expected, but we expect Muka to be way more proficient with those. And Sammy got killed last round, lurking around here around mid. Gokum is going to clear them again with a Vandal instead of a Guardian right now, but the smoke does come through from the attackers, so they're going to be able to cross into market somewhat safely.
And yeah, this B hit's gonna come in again, but through the cage. Through the cage.
It happened again. Muka showstopper removed.
Instantly again. We're not getting any chance to use this showstopper.
This
and
is
now
like
Minnesota
a
has
pre-Rosa.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd like to highlight this Cypher lurk from Minnesota back through mid here. There's no way that these Oregon players expect this so late. And there it is, coming from market, ending around with 2 more picks.
That was a good aftershock from Uguay, has to be said, knowing that the Minnesota player would be in that corner, but just too good. I mean, when you lose that powerful race ult, what are you going to do? What can you do?
Yeah, that Razor is actually gonna be the death of us. Rosa twice, and it wasn't even close. It seemed like it had just been popped, and he was instantly killed. I think did he get sprayed through a cage that round? Like, what can you do about that?
Not much, I'll tell you.
But yeah, Oregon just gonna try to do the same round again. Maybe grab this orb, hopefully again, try to Rosa a 3rd time this half. I mean, I'd love to see it. Why not?
It would be hilarious, that's for sure.
And this game plan from Minnesota just to take this mid space and end in a market split. It looks like they're gonna commit to B side again, and we may get like our 5th or 6th 5v5 retake this game.
Well, no numbers parity anymore. Ryu takes down Gonu, almost takes down Crow. That exit out of the Yoru ult wasn't the best, but the TP was into mid. Maybe someone heard that. No, all Oregon players, all 5 are going to be retaking side. There is a Nightfall, but no one was on side. I believe no one should have been tagged. And now Crow with a pinch from Market. There is a Rolling Thunder as well. So maybe try to take something away from the Minnesota retake, but Crow lines up too. Gokum takes them down with his Sheriff for the troubles. Varxera though with the spam. This is so powerful from Minnesota. There's a blinded Gecko and the Molly is going to come out, but there it is. Oregon play the traits to perfection and Ryu should have this defuse.
Yeah, good. Finally, a good retake out of Oregon. They ended up using that Nightfall and that Breach ult, but they decided they have to fight into B main. Like we were talking about with that Heretics post-plant spam becoming so prevalent on this map, you have to keep fighting. So Uguay was able to use that Breach ult into B main, so Minnesota wasn't able to just fully spam through. They had to play back a little bit, and then we were able to win on that trades. So finally, we win one of these retakes after losing how many this half. And now it looks like Minnesota wants to start with a B main pressure, but not commit off it. Try to just fight for B main. But they're gonna run into the Oregon players here. The drone comes through. Is Crow gonna flash through this? Nah, TP's out. Good TP. And taking that B main from a breach here, it's so hard. It's so hard. That breach stun coming through with aftershocks, trying to get that B main out of his hands, it's going to be hard. So it looks like Minnesota just want to go back to A.
Yeah,
but it might honestly
the
be
shots from Sammy. We caught it briefly. Sammy got Gokum to about half health down. That Fade versus Cypher duel has been going on for most of the rounds this half, so heads up play from Sammy to know that they were going to be checking for that lurk. Now Uguay seeing Ginsburg here, so some pressure applied by Minnesota. Actually, the kill is going to be found on what looks like an ego swing, and the control from Minnesota here is incredible. They have the A site and they are forcing the rotates onto B main. Ginsburg gets one on Wakeless, actually down to 5 HP, but that is a massive numbers advantage on essentially 2 ego fights from Minnesota Sova.
I mean, and this guy's not only calling a good game, but he's getting 2 free first bloods into this round. Finally, Muka's able to trade him out. Maybe this retake is going to come through now. 3 Minnesota players just sitting on site. Gecko is going to come in from Minnesota towards CT, but it's the wrong way.
It is the wrong way, but Muka did take down Crow. Sammy and Ryu, now both Cyphers with a kill, so it is a 2 versus 2. That Cypher ultimate was invested, I believe, courtesy of Sammy, but Ryu is going to claim all the kills. And Oregon now, the retake master, seemingly.
Finally, we seem to have adjusted the game plan a little bit. And even though Oregon is winning that round, it still felt like it was leaning in Minnesota's favor. I mean, Ginsburg selling that fake towards B. He's able to kill Uguay for free and then able to predict the Wakeless walk up top mid and get a second kill there. That's great job out of the leader of Minnesota there. And it felt like they should have had that round, but Ryu able to get 3 on the retake. A bit of a hero play in that 3v4, but good job to get another round for the Oregon side. And now Minnesota gearing up, 4 people outside A main. It looks like they want to take a little bit faster with this Yoru. They have this Sova ult coming in. And I mean, look at the A site. Once again, Ryu playing super far off, playing with those deep trips, predicting a deeper fight out of Minnesota.
Time to jump.
Yeah, I don't know about these deep trips, and Sammy takes down Muka, so that judge is going to be eliminated. If you didn't catch it, there was a shotgun by me. Try to go for that close quarters, combat the shock darts. All right, good. And now the Hunter's Fury is going to be unleashed. Claims 1. Is it going to claim 2? Not quite, but Gonu is. Wakeless eliminated from the server. Minnesota trying to not go into the half swap at the same number of rounds. Crow flashes out, but Ryu claims 2. The Cypher is on fire for Oregon, and that is going to be 3. And the defuse comes through. Oh, Minnesota, you cannot allow that.
A bit of a blunder there out of Minnesota. I mean, what was that, 5v2? It was that a 5v2 right there? Were you able to protect the spike diffuser the entire time? He just sticks it in those cages, and Minnesota thought it was just a tap, so they didn't push fast enough. And going into this next half off of that round is so hard. If you're Minnesota, like I would be mad right now. Going into this next half with a tilter like that, getting stuck right in front of your face, it can't be good for the mental here.
Time to jump.
That is painful. That was painful to watch. I mean, obviously, I'm cheering for the Golden Gophers, but even as a neutral fan, that had to be painful to watch because, like we said, they were trying to claim the advantage before going into the side swap, and now they're all tied at 6 apiece.
Yeah, and that was a great recovery out of Oregon in that half, and it looks like they want to just bring that momentum into this pistol round with the flash, the dog, the nade coming into sight, insta entering into B, but Sammy able to get one.
And Ginsburg with another one. Minnesota holding strong on the defense despite the heavy execute from Oregon, but Gokum is going to take Ginsburg down, so no information utility anymore for Minnesota. They can hold strong, however. You look at that, they have Arxera all the way over between A and mid. They have the Cypher trip watching top mid, so they can just stack here on B and play the retake, especially with Gonu watching from market.
And yeah, it looks like Oregon wants to kind of try to bait this retake. Maybe Ryu will make some noise top mid for them, make some noise mid, try to bait some of these players away from B. Oregon's just going to try to sit in B main and then pop out a little bit later in this round. They're trying to convince Minnesota that they left. And it looks like Minnesota has kind of started to buy it. You see that Cypher rotating towards A, but still hitting into this site with this crossfire of Gonu and Yoru back site. It's going to be hard. It looks like they're going to come out right now. Omen Blind coming through from Gonu.
They are, but they didn't break the haunt, and so maybe Oregon thought that the side was free. Wakeless though with 2 kills. Now it is a 2 versus 2 with time running down the pile. The plan though does come through. Wakeless, good for it. Dizzy has been broken. Both Varxera and Sammy there very low, and Wakeless with a 4K on the round, saving Oregon, giving them pistol and putting them back up once again for what I believe to be the first time since round 2.
Yeah, getting that momentum back in Oregon's favor there with that pistol. Big pistol, once again, another man deficit, 3v4 that round, and it really came back to the Gecko and the Cypher being on the low HP right there. Wakeless is just able to body spam him out, and that was honestly, like, it felt like Minnesota had that round again. They're definitely controlling the pace of this game, but Oregon's being saved by some hero plays. And they're just going to go, Oregon's going to go quick into A, onto their force round. They're going to go take quick elbow space and then leave Raze. Gonu gets a pick top mid. And now it looks like Oregon's just going to want to speed into this A site, try to take that space back. Yor was able to TP out, not get killed at all. Now Oregon's going to fight through this 4v5 retake.
Not gonna be easy for Minnesota with the Warriors guns, but they do have numbers advantage. Utility being thrown out right there. And Muka with the Stinger is so dangerous. Gokum as well with the Spectre finishes the kill. And that should be it done for Minnesota. Maybe they'll try to die to Spike. No, Ginsburg wants to fight it. And Gonu does as well. Gets the shot onto Wickless with a Sheriff, but closing it out. Muka with 4 on the round, and Uguay with that Bulldog that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah, okay, don't hate me, Gator, but Muka with 4 kills, building towards that showstopper. Are we going to see it? Are we going to see it this game?
You know what's going to happen with it, right? You know it, I know it.
I'm scared.
Everybody knows
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm personally scared. But yeah, it looks like Oregon wants to maybe start with that quick pressure again. They were able to get that A space pretty easily right last round. So it looks like they might lean towards that again, try to get Crow to maybe TP off. And this quick satchel is going to come out of Muka. That Crow TP is going to come. And it looks like it is going to be a fake this round. So they're trying to create that pressure. If you look at the map, the Oregon players are sort of leaning back into B. It looks like Ginsburg realized he started to rotate, but then came back. So it might be a retake coming out here with 4 Oregon players grouping towards that B site and Ginsburg just sitting in market.
Yeah, and we saw Ryu die in the previous round to Gonu, I believe, and so they bought up for a Vandal. So there is a Vandal available for the University of Oregon to use, even if the holder dies. Ryu, even if Ryu dies, they're going to be able to get it back. But for now, Muka has been spotted at A, so the rush plant has to come through. Cypher Trip has been eliminated, so Minnesota know that they're going to have to go for the retake here, but they do have numbers advantage. Do they have the solution to the Heretics post plant, though? That is going to be a big question.
Yeah, all of Oregon playing off site, and with the lighter guns, it's going to be a little bit harder to play the spam. I mean, the Stinger, there's a Sheriff on Wakeless. It's going to be hard to spam through that smoke with those lighter guns without those rifles. So this defuse is going to come through. And they kill the defuser, but it is half from Minnesota.
That is half for Minnesota. Sammy and Ginsburg are going to claim 2 of their own. So now it is on Gokum and Ryu. Can they get the kills with the classic? Gokum gets 1 and Ryu gets the other. They confirm it. And Oregon goes up 9-6. They're going to be able to claim the guns as well.
And winning that bonus round right there, I mean, these sunset changes can't come in soon enough. Like, we have to change this map. Being able to play that post plant spam every B post plant is just honestly ridiculous. We have to change this map. But yeah, I mean, Oregon winning that bonus round, it feels like they're just riding that momentum off of that 2v5 in the last round of the half. Because after that round, honestly, it looks like Minnesota hasn't been playing with as much confidence as they were earlier in the game. And it looks like now on their eco, Minnesota's going to try to fight for a little bit more B main pressure with this blind, swinging off of it, but Oregon playing very patient, very slow. They know that on the eco, Minnesota might be more likely to push out. So now it looks like a 4-man reclear is going to come into this B main, come into these 3 players here now.
Crow
Shots
here
coming
trying to be set up for the trap play with a Stinger. Is it going to be good? It's going to be good. Oh, no, I was going to say for at least 1, but Muka doesn't go down. There's a blind. Crow does take down Muka. Uguay with the trade. Sammy and Gonu with 2, though. Now it is even numbers as soon as Uguay claims his 3rd off the round. This breach with Spike in hand, but Ryu low in life. So the retake going to come in for Minnesota. Are they going to feed Ryu his ult orb? Ginsburg has spotted 1, might spot 2. Uguay had that. The Rolling Thunder just won away. You gotta wonder, why is Uguay not planting? Why are we feeding these kills to Ginsburg?
Yeah, and those 2 shock darts coming in, but 100% I see what you're saying. Uguay was 1 off that Rolling Thunder. If he had got that plant down, he would have been able to ult into the post plant, maybe win that round. But Ginsburg with these shock darts, I swear he's had like 4 or 5 shock dart kills this game.
Yeah,
but on that thrifty there from Minnesota, that's exactly what you want to see. Ginsburg able to use his utility. He had like a Stinger or something. So being able to use that utility that he came into the round with, get 2 kills from it, that's a really, really good round if you're Minnesota. You're feeling good about that thrifty, especially when you didn't really fight. You didn't have a Guardian. You just had like Stingers, Deagles. That fight in B main win in your favor. You love that. And now Oregon is going to lean towards this B main again. They said, if I lost it last round, we're just going to do it again. Try to jump on Ginsburg there with the stun and the double satchels. We don't quite get the kill from it, but it does draw rotates, and now it looks like Oregon wants to go back towards that A site. 2 players from Minnesota they're still holding, so it might be a little bit of a brawl here in A main.
Oh, Ryu with the shots onto Ginsburg.
And
Mark it. Minnesota player taken down, has been the leading man, the point man for the Golden Gophers, and now he's not going to be present for the retake as Oregon try to flood onto side. Our Minnesota going to try to fight it, though. They're here to prevent it. They had the rotates into the side. Ryu and Gonu are going to trade. Actually, Gonu is going to claim 2, so the Gophers trying to find their kills to even out the numbers, but Muka is going to preserve that advantage. Now Sammy coming in with the rotate, and the plant will come through, or will it? Gokim trying to take it slow as Wakeless goes around for the flank, but Varxera is getting timed. Holy, we're available for that flank. Muka drawing in the sound from here. They're going to get caught by that Sammy flank, but the trades are even once again, and now rushing into A side. The Cypher ult, though, is going to be all the information for Sammy.
And yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak it into existence right now, but odds that that Oregon just played 2 B main right here. I mean, come on, it's a B post plant, and yeah, they're gonna go walk B main. So that call to rotate there was so good. They knew Sammy was elbow. They were already pushed CT. They're like, okay, like let's just leave. We're gonna get plenty of time because Sammy here from Minnesota is gonna have to walk up. And for this 1v2 with barely any Cypher util, I wonder how Sammy's gonna play this. Looks like he's gonna try to tap for the first and gets traded out by Oregon. Yeah, I mean, nice try. There's not much you can do there in the clutch. That brawl on A, and then Ryu able to work that pick in mid. I mean, he looked like Sammy on the lurks, trying to lurk mid there and picking that rotator. So good job out of Ryu to get that first blood in mid. And okay,
yeah, if I'm Minnesota here.
Gator, all I'm gonna say is Muka did raise ult that round, and he did not get a kill.
I mean, he did not get a kill, but at least he got it off, right? At least the rocket was fired.
It was shot. And quick play here out of an oh my, Crow with 2 nice shots.
Careful with that Crow, because you might get vultured instead. In tiles, 2 Oregon players meet their demise, as now Minnesota have the numbers advantage, and they're going to press it with this Hunter's Fury, allowing Crow to get another one, and suddenly it has all come undone. It rests onto Ryu to get the ace onto the Golden Gophers, who have spun Flax into gold, and the fight through mid. Is the Cypher going to make it alive? There's 1, there are 2, but no, the Marshall is going to be good enough, and the Golden Gophers out of nowhere seemingly back in the game.
And another thrifty coming out of Minnesota there. I mean, these thrifties on defense just have thrown Oregon for a loop. They don't seem to know how to deal with it. They try to hold a little bit back, but still these fights don't go in their favor. So another thrifty for Minnesota, and Crow, those deagle shots. I mean, what do you even do against that? Muka was literally holding the walk up, and Crow just jiggled and one tapped him. So great shots out of Crow there. And then the refight after it with Ginsburg ult coming in. I mean, that was just another great thrifty out of Minnesota, I'll be honest.
Yeah, the Hunter's Fury from Ginsburg is such a useful tool, right? Sometimes players, including myself, are scared to use their ults because they see them as an ultra powerful tool that you only have to save for certain situations. You only save it for post play, especially the Sova ult that you can kill people from so far away. Ginsburg is aware, as are so many high ranked players, that this is just another tool. It is on a longer cooldown, yes, but you can still use it to win rounds, and we see it right there perfectly. They need those extra tools to win the thrifty, and so they do, and they bring themselves within just 2. The problem is that Oregon had a good run of rounds here in their offense to start their offense, and Minnesota are having to fight back from behind. So I'm wanting to see if they get to use their timeouts at any point, or if they just let Oregon run away with it.
100%. And that, like you were saying, that Ginsburg ult last round that got invested. Now Oregon's going to be on a little bit of a lighter buy. grouping up towards tiles, but Crow again with this walk down, he's able to get another first blood for free. It doesn't look like there's going to be a trade coming in. And Oregon really have to deal with this problem. Yeah, Crow's just able to walk back out towards market, and now Oregon's stuck in a 4v5 with Deagles and Spectres and Ghosts even.
He can't keep getting away with it. He can't keep getting away with that. Crow is the Tiles Demon, the menace on the Yoru. And now Minnesota are 3-stacked here on a 3 versus 4 for the ace I hit. Gonu and Varxera are going to challenge with the Dizzy, and that is going to hit everyone. If they hit their shots, they're going to be good for it. Gonu takes down Muka, so that's no duelist, no nade, no Roomba, no satchels, no anything for the side of Oregon, who are just being torn apart at the seams. Gokum, the last one alive, as every pick falls one by one. Minnesota gonna bring it within one unless we see a miracle in the server, which we're not.
And yeah, I mean, these Ducks are just getting hunted by Crow here. Another free first blood for Minnesota side. And now Oregon's gonna have another gun, but it was a flawless gun round there out of Minnesota against the lighter buy from Oregon. So now if you're Oregon coming into this round, you really need this. If you lose this round, you're back on a half buy. And the money for Minnesota based on that thrifty is just absolutely flowing. Some of these players with 6K, 7K. And it looks like Oregon's going to opt to try to switch the pace up a little bit. Maybe go for another fast B take right here. And you see Crow, he's fighting out mid again. This guy has no fear. Look at him. He has no fear. He just wants to fight out mid again. But luckily this time, all the Ducks grouping over here towards B. And it looks like this site hit's about to come in.
Side hit is about to come in, but that Cypher tripwire is going to be good enough to stall for a little second. Now they know pretty much everyone is on site until they discover this lurker in mid. Is Ryu going to get caught? No, actually, he's going to catch Crow. And now Sammy getting shot at from the back. The neural theft did come online for the University of Oregon, so they have plenty of information on where the Minnesota players are located. In a 4 versus 5 retake, we know just how hard it is from this offsite post plan. The tap is going to come through, and now comes a spam.
And yeah, Minnesota not going to stick on that first half. Very smart. Tap first and then try to burn some of that Oregon util out. It looks like Gonu's going to try to do a flex ninja play behind everybody here. 2! Oh my, only 2 here. And still somehow man advantage in Oregon's favor, and they still get that round.
Oh, Ginsburg was left alone with not enough time, but that play from Gonu. Oh, you love to see the confidence, and actually, you know, for Minnesota, it is good to know that the spirits are high, but it just wasn't enough. As soon as you allow that B plant to come through, I mean, is it really even possible to retake that? I mean, for my premier teammates, apparently it is really not possible to play that post plant, but for these high level players, I mean, it's easy as pie.
Yeah, that post pit is so strong, and you saw Wakeless smoke himself off, smoke his own teammates off just to be able to spam through that. But now coming into this round again, Minnesota's giving this A main space for free. So Muka and Oregon are going to be able to take this space, get the orb, and it looks like Crow did rotate in from mid with this TP. And he's gonna use his ult to re-clear sight. He's gonna see that it's just Muka here. Hopefully he's calling to his teammates now that he's sprinting away, and this is gonna be it was a fake pressure towards A. But this Oregon B take is already coming in. They're already flooding onto site. Sammy trying to be a hero.
Sammy trying to get those shots in there, but the plan does come through from the University of Oregon. Uguay gets away with that cross. That was a very dicey situation, especially when the Minnesota players coming in from the spawn. Muka blinded for a second, but is good for one. Now the showstopper is ripped, and finally the first kill in the round with such a powerful ult falls onto Ginsburg. Ryu catches a flying from Gonu, and Minnesota seemingly gonna fall to match point. Crow does trade, but Sammy going down does not leave this Yoru in a winnable situation. Oh, and the cap just on top of the bomb. GG, go next is what Oregon want Minnesota to be thinking. Now the mentality of the Gophers is going to be tested here. Do they go for a timeout?
Yeah, and yeah, it looks like that first timeout is going to come through, and it's looking like a very scrappy buy here out of Minnesota. Right before freeze time, I saw a Stinger or Bucky. They did have 3 rifles, and they do have this Gecko ult coming into this round here. So, and I just want to highlight real quick this Yoru comp, like the weaknesses of this Yoru comp is trying to hold onto that space on defense, right? It's much harder to hold onto B main, and it's much harder to hold onto A main. And we see Oregon kind of utilizing that. They're taking this B main space, taking this A main space for free. And this Yoru for Crow for Minnesota, he's walking out mid, trying to get a pick with the TP, which we did see working. But Oregon has kind of figured out the strengths and weaknesses of the Minnesota comp.
Yeah, and Minnesota once again getting burned by not knowing how to stop that B plant. I mean, maybe you can stop the plant, but you do need to get those kills before the attackers retreat to B main. Otherwise, you're just sold. You're just gonna be gone. And Minnesota, they just haven't been able to find it. That's why they find themselves in this match point situation. There's dire straits in terms of the economy. Are they going to be able to scrap something through, though? There is a Vandal in the hands of Ginsburg. He has been leading the team, I believe, in kills up to that point. Maybe the entire lobby, if he has been fragging out. But the rest of Minnesota, we know they're good on the Thrifties, but how good are they?
100%. And I believe, yeah, you see Crow here on a Judge, and then one more player, I believe, on a Stinger. So Minnesota, they do have 3 rifles to work with in this round. It looks like they want to hold a B main trap here with the Cypher Cam and with that Omen Blind. But Oregon feeling out towards mid instead. And Crow top mid here with the Judge. I mean, he's not even going to be able to hold it, like take a peek at all. He's just going to have to hold this top mid space. So Minnesota going on their half buy, they're going for a bit more of a gamble stack over here towards B, leaving mid and leaving A open. Finally, they do break that stack because Oregon broke market door, and Oregon going to take up a main space. It looks like they don't necessarily want to commit off of it, and they're actually going to opt to go back into B, breaking that market door, making that A main space to draw these rotates. We see Crow and Sammy here kind of wanting to shift over towards A. And now Oregon's probably just going to run another full B hit. These smokes coming in a second with this Nightfall. And Ginsburg backside.
That's a very heavy execute from Oregon. Gonu already going down. It's 2 ultimates still online for Minnesota. Muka drawn very low here. We know just how good these shock darts can be from Ginsburg, but Wakeless takes down Crow. There are trades abound, but Wakeless, the Omen from the University of Oregon, is going to be good now on a B main. That neural theft having been uploaded, Ryu goes for the Cypher trade, and it is all onto Varsera. That Gecko is not going to be able to get it, and the Oregon Ducks rally from behind to claim victory in their own map pick to open the series 13-9 for the 1-0.
And yeah, great adjustment there out of Oregon. It seemed like Minnesota came into that map with great ideas, great prep coming into Sunset there. They had some really good rounds. I mean, they won 5-6 rounds straight there on their attack half. So it seemed like they came into that map with a really good idea of how they want to play it. But those timeouts coming out of Oregon, those adjustments that they were able to make, reading into the comp that Minnesota was playing, really was just able to push them past that finish line. And you saw Ryu there on the Cypher. I mean, he had some really big 3Ks, 4Ks, huge rounds, ends up as the match MVP.
Yeah, indeed, the University of Oregon showcasing why they have that victory on the record. But just like we were talking about before the pregame, Minnesota, this is their 3rd consecutive 13-9 map in a row. It's going to be onto their map pick of Haven. We will go to a teensy-dweensy little break. Don't go anywhere, though. We will be right back with some more great Valorant action.
traveling. See it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, yeah. I need to see it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, I wanna see it all, yeah. I'd give anything just to leave this town tonight. I'd give anything just to leave this town, leave it all behind.
Hello and welcome back here to the big esports conference, Valorant. Of course, we have the University of Minnesota against the University of Oregon. My name is Alligator, and I'm bringing you all the action with Grox. My friend, what a banger of a map one that we just saw.
And yeah, great out of both teams there. Great showing out of both teams. I just want to highlight real quick Ginsburg. He had some amazing calls on that map. His utility was absolutely top tier. The shock darts, the ults, everything was great out of him. So definitely excited to get into this next map, which is Haven, by the way, which I remember at the beginning, you were giving me a little bit of flack because Oregon got 13-3 on Haven. So I'm definitely excited to see. I know they switched their comp up. They switched a little bit of their protocols up. They worked on the map a little bit. So I'm definitely excited to see if they're able to sort of bring a new look into this map, maybe surprise you, or if we might go to a map 3.
We'll have to see about that one. I trust my Golden Gophers to bring some magic here to Heaven. Yes, they did lose it last week, but I'm sure they have also been working on it. It was their own pick for a reason. So now we're seeing here some compositions. Grox, walk me through them.
Yeah, so for Minnesota, this Phoenix Jet is definitely strong on this map. Normally you see a lot of double initiator. You see the breach coming through, but I think the Phoenix pick is really interesting. It's definitely also out of the meta. I noticed Minnesota likes playing these sort of oddball curveball comps, the Yoru comp on Sunset, and then now bringing this Phoenix out. And honestly, I would have no other player than Gonu on it. We saw him on the Omen last map, absolutely frying, dropped about 25 kills. So I think this map, we're going to see Gonu on this Phoenix fighting for a lot of a long space on defense, and then on offense, being able to utilize those pop flashes with the site entry, because you don't have as much utility because you're only running single initiator. So this double initiator, we're probably going to see a lot of site hits, a lot of maybe working mid and going back towards A lot of stuff like that. And now coming out of Oregon. Sorry. Coming out of Oregon with this neon and this breach, it's definitely a strong comp on this map. Honestly, a very, very annoying comp with this double stun. It's really hard to play against right now. I think it's definitely one of the more meta comps on Haven. So I think it'll be interesting to see these two clash it out right now.
Well, certainly going to be an interesting thing to watch right here. Very interesting to me. Gokum now going to be the one playing the breach. I believe that does mean that Uguay is moving over to fulfill the Sova role. Once again, it is going to be Minnesota starting on the offense. So let's see what protocols they have. Like you said, the Phoenix, maybe a bit of an interesting pick, especially being now switched around, maybe even for that double duelist role. But Gonu was firing on all cylinders for parts of that previous map, so let's see what they got.
100%. And yeah, it looks like with this Neon, it looks like that Oregon's going to want to prioritize this A fight. As you can see, Muka able to just run up long instantly with that stun, able to take A right away, A lobby right away from Minnesota, who are starting sort of for that kind of mid default. We have Phoenix walked all the way up C long here. So honestly, with that cam breaking, it might just be, Minnesota's just going to go through a full C hit. And I mean, these teams, they just love their 5v5 retakes.
Well, that they do for the moment. We're going to see VALORANT here with some offense into window with that molly gonna be deleted. Now Gokum's gonna flash out of here. VALORANT dodges the flash. There is a crossfire, and Ginsburg is gonna be good for 1 and for 2. Actually, Gokum and Oogway, both initiators, gone for the University of Oregon, but Ryu takes down Gonu. They're gonna be fighting here on side as soon as this smoke fades. It's gonna be 3 kills falling in the span of half a second, and Minnesota starting with the advantage here in game 2.
Yeah, that post plant there out of Minnesota, everybody stayed on site. You saw them hold on to that garage space. And just like we were highlighting in the pre-lottery, Ginsburg able to come out on top of those trades, killing both players coming out of garage window from Oregon. And that IGL, once again, coming up clutch. He had a lot of big moments last map. This map as well. I mean, we can see that he did not let that loss get to him. He did not let that affect him. He's coming right into this map swinging. And now it looks like Minnesota going to have that mid pressure as well, but maybe want to fight for this A main space a little bit more. While Oregon, with these classics, it looks like they're going to try to just hold a sort of C trap, group up together here backside, and hopefully be able to pick a gun or two off of Minnesota.
That's what they want, but the full aggression here coming from Gonu in the beginning is going to take down one. Not the intended. It was a Wakeless with the right click from the classic at short range. Ginsburg has also been chunked down very low. The Minnesota planner going to be looking at maybe alternative options to be found in this round. It's Minnesota regroup, and they seem to want to hit A very, very heavily. Oogway, the only one present here.
And yeah, honestly, if you're Minnesota, you don't hate that. Sure, you give up a Spectre, but being able to find that Oregon stack, find out where they are, and being able to then just go right into A. And Muka just absolutely sat down on that retake, maybe jumping the gun a little bit there. The rest of Oregon not quite with him. And now we're just going to see this full post plant. Honestly, like you were saying last game, Oregon might just want to dive to Spike here. But it looks like they don't care. It looks like they want to give him orb. Swinging out of that CT smoke. They're about to come into this crossfire from Minnesota.
Oh.
Wakeless able to come back with a pick, but yeah, the rest just cleaned up by these Minnesota players in this post plant.
But that was expensive for Minnesota. More,
yeah.
I think, than it should have been. Those 2 kills, they're not what you want in your second round.
Yeah, losing 3 guns there is going to make this round almost impossible. Luckily, they were able to bring those 2 Bulldogs, those 2 like semi-rifles into this round. So they did keep the higher firepower. But you can see, I mean, a Deagle, a Marshall coming out from Crow. It'll be interesting to see how Minnesota want to work around these Bulldogs. But it looks like Oregon wants to just speed up here, doing a quick C main space. And Minnesota responding with their own quick B take. But honestly, it looks like a fake. We have Gonu slotted into sight and the rest of Minnesota going towards A. Smoke's coming in now. It looks like this execute's actually going to be on A with just leaving Gonu inside of B.
Oh, and Crow pays with his life for destroying that trap wire. Gonu, though, lurking for kills, gets traded. Not before dropping Wakeless, sorry. Plant comes through from Ginsburg. And now Minnesota trying to play offside here.
And yeah, this 4v3 retake coming in, especially with the Breach and the Sova still alive. Nice, almost shock dart right there. It's going to be hard for Minnesota. We have this Neon sliding out.
Oh!
Good pick from Sammy.
Sammy's that sit down to Rios, that sit down back. Ginsburg with the Sheriff, but it's just not enough. Gokum and Oogway combined for all the kills. And now the defuse is going to come through for this Breach.
And it's just like you said last round. It was a little bit too expensive for Oregon. Normally, when you do buy into a round, you want to save around 3 guns. But just like you were saying, Oregon only able to bring 2, just like Minnesota was last round. So these 2 rifles coming into this round, It looks like Oregon's not going to opt to force up around it, and Minnesota's going to have the econ advantage back in their favor, being able to get 5 rifles up, while Oregon's only going to be working with two Vandals and some Bulldogs.
And Minnesota should bring this back even to a piece, but you never know with these players. You never know how it's gonna go, especially with this aggression from Muka over into mid, and Varxera punished for their hubris. Minnesota just completely disrespecting Oregon and paying the price.
And yeah, Muka able to kind of slip past that turret. KJ from Minnesota was not expecting him to be all the way down there. He thought the turret just hit him at the top of mid. So great job from Oregon to be able to pull something out of the book there.
Does Wickless know? He doesn't, and Crow is good for 1, Crow is good for 2. As we cut away to Rio, and back to Crow we go, because the A side is completely free for Minnesota's taken.
And great job by Crow. I mean, he's able to kill both players. But, oh my god, Muka, he doesn't care. He's jumping right out, but traded from Crow. Crow now has a 3rd on the round. And it looks like the last 2 players of Oregon in this 2v3 may not be able to break back into this A site, and they're swinging out CT.
Oh, but if you have someone hitting your shots like Ryu does, maybe you are. But Minnesota have someone hitting their shots like Ginsburg. So they bring it up to 1-3. I did not realize that Oregon, they were the ones at a disadvantage. It was not Minnesota bringing it back to 2 apiece. That would have been the case in Sunset, but now the Gophers, they have the advantage, and they want to be the ones to run away with it, hence the timeout from Oregon.
And yeah, Minnesota coming out with this early lead again, looking almost similar to Sunset, coming out with a couple more rounds on the board, 3-1 here for Minnesota. And they have this, they worked their way up to this Phoenix ult. Oregon put down to an eco again, and not being able to get that first blood conversion right there. I mean, you saw Muka able to make it an instant 5v4, but Crow with an absolute hero play, that 2K in short. I mean, this Crow guy can definitely shoot back. He's been so good this series. Last map, and now like starting off hot this map. I mean, this guy is definitely a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem for Oregon if they don't deal with him. But the Ducks, they do have a few aces up their sleeve, we know. The question is, how good? We're going back to it. Is their haven? We know it is the Gophers pick. We know that Oregon did get 13-3'd last week. So the question is, are we going to see a different scenario, or is it going to be the same story?
100%, yeah. So coming out of that timeout, hopefully they're able to do the adjustments that they need. It looks like they're just going to bring it back simple, just fight for this A main space off of Rip. Muka going to run up with this stun, with this dart, take this A main space out of Minnesota's hands, and hopefully this round they're able to utilize the space a little bit better.
The Phantom Spam doesn't hit Crow, but it could have chunked this Jet a bit lower as soon as she popped her ult. So, good idea by the Ducks. It just didn't come to fruition.
And this Phoenix on Godu, he's been able to get so much value out of just like walking up C long here. And look at this bait out of Minnesota. It draws 4 Oregon players towards C. You can see them all back sight over there, believing that it's towards C, but now they realize with the Uguay contact that it's actually going to be an A hit, but this rotate's not going to be quick enough. Crow with the knives out, going straight into sight.
Oh, the Sova is blind. He's not going to see anything. He's not going to see how Crow drops 2 of his teammates, and Minnesota looking at a 4-1 on the scoreboard. Can they go flawless? That's what they want with Goda pushing here with the open flash. That spray, that spam is not good for kills for now. But Minnesota, oh, that is some beautiful shots from Gokum. No flaws for the Gophers, but it's still going to be good enough for the round to win. And I think finally we're going to see first players go down to the spike all series long.
Yeah, they finally realized maybe we just shouldn't keep giving up free orbs to the Minnesota side. So now we'll die to the spike here. And you know, this eco round, oh, Bro is actually going to kind of push and get these kills.
They don't care about the dying to the spike.
We don't see anything except for Crow. Crow is the one who dies to the spike here. He's able to hunt those players down. He doesn't even get any ult orbs out of it, but able to maybe boost his KD, which is sitting at 7-3 now. Absolute great first 5 rounds out of Crow here. He's been hitting some great shots with that supporting utility from Ginsburg and from Sammy. He's just able to entry into sight, and it looks amazing for Minnesota here.
It was 7-3 before this round. Now it is 11-3 without 4K. Crow firing on all cylinders, and Minnesota not lifting their foot off the gas pedal.
Yeah, and we see this A fight from Oregon again. They want to try to just take this map back to its basics and just fight this A main pressure, make sure that Minnesota doesn't get it at all. But Minnesota almost seems like they don't need it at all. Like even off the round start, they'll just leave A and then go back and re-clear it later in the round.
Yeah, Minnesota, not a lot of map control, but they do have this go to ult, and there is a Hunter's Fury as well, I believe, from Ginsburg to clear that backside. As the run it down doesn't show anything for the Phoenix. Now Muka gonna fight here. Oh, that's a headshot, I believe, from the Stinger. Is gonna be good enough. A Crow for the moment. Good enough for one. Onto Wakeless. Gokim trying to fight here from Garage, as the map has been reversed a little bit by the Ducks, who are now playing a sort of attacker retake. Mocha, though, is good for the flank. So Sammy and Minnesota Smokes are down. Crow, though, gets a second one in the round at 3 HP. Will he be able to find anything else? Dash is online. Gonu is going to be good for one. Ginsburg looking for another, fishing for kills. Are the Gophers? Gonu with a second. Ginsburg on the cleanup. And that is once again a 4-survivor round for Minnesota.
Yeah, just everything going in Minnesota's favor there. You see all those kills on C site coming in for Minnesota. There's no trades there out of Oregon. And this game, it doesn't even look close. I mean, Minnesota clearly has a good game plan for their map pick. They're coming out swinging every single round, and everything is going in their favor now. It looks like Oregon wants to maybe adjust with a walk down mid on their eco, but it looks like Minnesota, now they want to take the A space. So honestly, just great reads here out of the Minnesota side. However, Oregon does get walked down past that turret. I wonder if Muka will be able to catch KJ off here. He does, actually. And he gets a gun out of it. It looks like Minnesota's going to respond with just full taking A. Oregon playing on the side of the smoke with a collat.
The collateral from Gokum is good, but Sammy is there for the trades. Minnesota now in a 2 versus 3. Yes, Muka has been chunked down by the Gophers. They have to plant, and Sammy is going to go aggressive onto Heaven, or are they going to expect this? Yes, they are. They have a 2-person crossfire, but they don't have the weapons. Ryu has to get the headshot and is now going to claim a Vandal, as Crow has that planted spike, but the neural theft revealing his location. He keeps moving around. He does not know where the players are coming through. That blind, though, is gonna paranoia him, and he's gonna be good for no kills. That is the second round for the Oregon Ducks after a few rounds of suffering.
Finally able to get a round conversion on that Thrifty. Sneaking past that turret and then out of Muka, being able to pick Voxera there in T-spawn, getting them that first rifle of that round really tilted that round in Oregon's favor. And it's interesting to note just that KJ turret with the nerf, it can't see 180 degrees anymore. So being a little bit misplaced there on that mid walk down lets Muka sort of timing that turret there and get that first blood.
And speaking of Muka, did you see that weapon in their hands?
Yeah, opping mid on this Neon. Finally, we're gonna see an op. I don't think all of Sunset we didn't see an op out, and he's just trying to hold that window line there. Maybe doing a little bit of a read, and it looks like he may get something out of it.
Oh, the timing.
No,
this is VALORANT timing at its finest. As now Minnesota trying to scale up through Garage. Where is Ryu? Shots fired. Gonna give up his position, though, as Ginsburg and Varxera, I believe, try to work up Garage. And now are going to go back as Gonu tries to go for the pinch on C-Long, but Wakeless and Ryu are going to combine to chunk him down. Minnesota now at a numbers disadvantage with better weapons in the hands of Oregon. Gonna have to rotate back to A.
And yeah, Uguay's going to be hearing all of this. He's left on a bit of an island here. It looks like an Omen Smoke's going to come through, try to help him out. But he's just left on site completely alone. And he gets picked out instantly.
Surely, they go first. They gotta win this one. It is a 4 versus 3. They have the numbers advantage and the spike planted. That explosion onto side. I thought that we were gonna get Uguay for sure. They also got Muka in that deal, in that trade. So now the Ducks explode onto side. How do the Gophers respond? Crow here in hell gets one, gets traded by Gokum instantly. Wakeless gonna go for the tap. Oh, but playing off of a main. That little cubby is a bit too strong for the post plan. The KJ turret detects the press ends, and Gokum is removed from the server as the Gophers climb up to 6.
And that A post plant just crossfires everywhere on site. And yeah, Uguay dying on site there, it's almost to be expected. But then Minnesota's able to pick that rotate on Muka as well, who is trying to come in and help Uguay. So they're able to kill both of those players there. And that was just a great hit out of Minnesota in that 4v5 there, because Gonu got picked deep sea long. And I think Oregon is kind of starting to realize that Gonu does like taking that C-long space, so it looks like he's going to adjust, go towards mid now, while Oregon defaults this A main pressure.
The paranoia doesn't catch Muka.
But they haven't cleared Crow. He gets
Crow
one
gets
for
one.
free. He wants a
He's
second
gonna
one.
get the other one. Of
my.
course he is.
Of course.
Oh, he's just that
Crow
good.
Absolutely hawking him down there with the knives.
And Varxera on the lurk catches one. So now down to 2 for Oregon. Only 3 for Minnesota, though they did suffer some losses.
And yeah, it looks like now Minnesota wants to speed up into that C. Ryu's gonna have to be a bit of a hero here, but he misses the shot. And in this 3v2 retake, I mean, you don't have a lot of that info util that you would want to have with some initiators being alive. Just Wakeless and Ryu here. They are going to work this Omen blind into default.
What a shot from
great
Wakeless.
shot. Now into this 1v1.
Varxera.
Sentinel versus Sentinel.
He has it. Ryu can hold it, and Varxera is now realizing, oh, he made him get off. And now surely, is he going to get it? Is he going to be detained? No, he's not, but he's down to 4 bullets. Does Varxera have it?
I mean, Ryu does have that spike half right there. So with the fake jump, he is able to win that 1v1. Great play there out of Ryu. You saw him sort of jump and then tap the defuse to maybe fake like he took a step after he defused. So great job out of Ryu to win that 1v1. Try to get a little bit of momentum back in Oregon's favor, but still the name of the game is Minnesota with 6-3 right now.
And Minnesota with the lead, but good round for Oregon. I was wondering about timeouts before this round, right? Because Oregon, they use their timeout very early, I believe after round 4, maybe, or something like that. And so they only have 1 remaining for the entire rest of the game. And it seemed like maybe before this round they could have used one, but no, they had more than enough, and they did claim victory with a great performance by Ryu.
Yeah, great 1v1 here. And now Oregon gonna pull that C space off instantly, and Minnesota gonna come with a quick response into A. But this Cypher Ryu is on A now. I wonder if we're gonna get any info out of these trips and these cams.
Oh, the blinds are beautiful and go to delete. Uguay, see you back in the lobby. Ryu, though, good for the kill onto Crow. Now has the ultimate. There's a blinded. Ginsburg and Gonu, though, on side. They're good for 2. They're good for 3 with the help of Varxera, despite Gokum taking down the Phoenix. It's just going to be Muka. Now on the retake. Oh, and the overheat with that ultimate. That is not what you want to see. Oh, you want to be cool, calm, and collected in these situations. But that's the furthest thing away from the truth right now for Muka and the Oregon Ducks.
I mean, yeah, you know, this freshman team, you're not going to see as much discipline as you would normally from some more seasoned competitors. So Muka just trying to make something happen there with that Neon ult. Doesn't work out in his favor. And now coming into this eco round, we don't have that Neon ult to work with. So I think it's something important to note. And it's just Minnesota is doing such a good job on these site takes and these trades especially. But Oregon going to come quick A again. Gonu able to instantly get out. And now the rest of his team coming to help him refight back into this. And it's just been great job working the map from Minnesota. Oregon's going more for these sort of set trap plays here, down C into A. And Minnesota's doing a great job of just defaulting, waiting for where this trap's going to come in, and then re-clearing the map.
And Minnesota with the discipline. They are good. Gona has been slotted here into that cubby. And the Hunter's Fury is going to be good. Or is it? Muka takes down Gona. So that Phoenix down to only 1 life. And Minnesota maybe forcing the Ducks to back away here. But it seems like they still want to hit C, or do they? No, they have started to back. There is one flanker though in Ryu. Are they going to clear him? Ryu for the moment gets away. Still numbers parity between the Ducks and the Gophers. The only thing is the Gophers have a much better set of weapons to fight with.
Yeah, 100%. And they're trying to work this map space back in their favor. I mean, you see Ryu on an island sort of in window, but absolutely ignoring them from Minnesota. Oh my god, the picks are all going in Oregon's favor.
Varxera with 1, but they don't have the time to plant. It's just not going to happen. And the thrifty once again from the Oregon Ducks. It was all Minnesota in control of the economy in Sunset. And now the tables have turned. It is still Minnesota leading, but they cannot seem to defeat Oregon when they are on a low buy.
Yeah, and that match space taken by Ryu and then Muka later in the round, they had all of that space there in window and in a main, and it felt like Minnesota was just kind of trapped there and they couldn't really do anything, and they just got caught in the crossfires in the mid-round. And now it looks like Oregon's going to go back into that default A space. That Jet getting into that corner again, finally gets scanned.
The reveal.
Good. Oh, he doesn't even make it out. He's going to opt to stay instead. Uguay able to get that first blood into Oregon's favor now. 5v4 with the second one coming up by Muka. And that's what you want to see from that A pressure. Able to kill those 2 players fighting. Able to bring it into a 5v3 here on the last round of the half.
The A-trap finally works between Muka and Uguay. And I believe Sammy was just not expecting the Neon to still be there. They thought, as was the case with many other previous rounds, Uguay was the lone fighter here in the A site. Now the question is, where are they going to fight? We've seen just how good they are incoming between main and sewers, but that is not going to be the case right now as Uguay and Muka clear it in tandem. And the 3 remaining players from Minnesota are going to back away. Look at the control, though, that Varxera has over Garage.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to opt to go back. Ryu holding this from spawn. He's able to get a little peek on. And now Wakeless sort of left here on the C site. He's opting to stay in sight. Gets one. Instantly traded out, though.
For 1.
And Ginsburg swinging into CT. Able to get one. Now they're going to bring this 3v2 retake. They haven't planted, though, yet for Minnesota. And this flank is about to come in.
Oh, Muka misses the first shot, so maybe that costed his life. Gona is going to be able to get the plant now. No, he's going to have to fight. Oh, time is running down. Is he going to be able to plant right around the corner? Yes, he is, but is he going to be able to get out with his life? Low on bullets. He does have a molly to heal up, but I don't think he is aware. Maybe if it goes around this corner, he could get the chance. There's one. That's all he needed. Molly to stall right there for a bit to allow him to reload. Also very low on health, I just realized, is Ryu. And the wall does come up.
Oh my
the
god,
wall is good
wall.
for the kill. Are you kidding me? That is the first wall kill that I have seen in my life.
And both of the players there are just so low. Gonu's able to throw that wall out, and Ryu just touches it just barely and dies. And what was that? A 2v4 out of Gonu and Ginsburg? The two of the biggest fraggers here on the Minnesota side. They're able to convert that 2v4 around that 100% should have gone in Oregon's favor. Now 8-4 half. Now, if you're Oregon, it's like we talked about on Sunset, like those rounds that you're not supposed to lose. When you lose them, now you have to go into the next half with a little bit of a worse mental coming into this pistol round.
Much bigger advantage from Minnesota here going into their defensive half. You can tell that they have worked on this haven, why it's their map pick. You were talking about Gona Ginsburg. Them two alongside Crow and Ryu are the only players in the entire lobby on double digits for kills. Muka now trying to join that club. Gets a shot on Ginsburg. This flash is good, but the shots are not. Crow is good for 1 though, so a 4 versus 3 in favor of Oregon.
Yeah, those A-long trades that we were talking about at the start of the game with this Phoenix opting to flash. and fight towards A long with those pop flashes. The trades go in Oregon's favor as they're able to play a little bit slower. And now they're opting to just go back towards C. Ryu with this pistol round lurk outside garage is calling the team back, telling them, hey, I heard a rotator. Let's go back and see. Now Minnesota's becoming aware they're going to come walk down mid, maybe try to clear this Cypher out.
But Ryu knows, and Ryu does not miss his shots, as we have seen. Is the fight going to come through in mid? A 3-man push from Minnesota. They should be able to survive. The question is, how many of them are going to die? They didn't know where Ryu was, so they lose Crow, their best player. Now Varxera gonna be the one here on the retake. He does get one.
Coming back in right there. Oh, what a
even
pick
numbers
from Varxera there. And now it's going to be a post-plant spam with these pistols, though. It's going to be much harder for Oregon. And Varxera just keeps going, ending with a 3K on the round in this pistol round.
Oh, this KJ is on fire. Is going to get now the ult orb as well. We saw some mishaps in the first half with that turret, but now that they are firing on all cylinders, they get 3 in the pistol round. Still bottom fragging, but doesn't really matter to bottom frag if you are getting the crucial kills. I'm telling you right now, it does not. And Varxera right there giving a good advantage for Minnesota that they should be able to convert into double digits to go up 10-4.
Yeah, 100%. And winning this second pistol here on the second map, they're going to, hopefully this round they want to end with a 10-4 scoreline. Oregon on, almost no buy, just sheriffs, maybe only 1 or 2 of them. They're going to opt to start towards mid here, walk up towards garage while Minnesota's playing with these better guns. And it looks like they want to go a little bit faster into garage, but Varxera with that molly is going to stall them out. Oregon not able to do their plan right away. Maybe reaggress here with this deagle. And here it comes. Muka sliding across, not able to catch Varxera off with that flash. And the reblind out of Minnesota with this refight.
They're just so good. Varxera with that Spectre has much better weaponry, and Oregon now just stranded. It seems like this KJ is indeed firing on all cylinders, and the amount of stall util that they have is too good for the Gophers not to win this round.
100%. And you saw with that stall util, he's able to stall for his Omen on Minnesota to come over and instantly reblind, and they're able to refight into that garage. Great mid-round call there out of Minnesota. It looks like they are just going to give up A, let Oregon take this A site. So Oregon's not going to be too mad at this round. They're able to get a plant down, but I doubt they can do anything in this 3v5 retake. We have 2 classics. Barely any util coming out of the Oregon side, and this retake commencing from Minnesota. This round is everything but over.
Yeah, Crow is going to get 1 more and 2 more and 3 more, reminding us why he is the main duelist for the Gophers. As I said, they're going to climb up to double digits, and their economy is flourishing with a flawless.
Yeah, that flawless coming in. I mean, you really hate to see just not able to get any guns there if you're on that Oregon side. And this 10-4 scoreline, I mean, you don't have a lot of wiggle room to play with, which is why we probably see this timeout here coming out of Oregon. Because just when it's 10-4, it's a bit early for a timeout in this half, but maybe Wakeless or the coach sees that the mental's a little bit down right now, just wants to call this timeout early. Because, I mean, 3 rounds until 13 from Minnesota side is just, it's not a lot of space to deal with. So we're going to see this early timeout coming from Oregon.
We are going to see that timeout, like I mentioned, come out from Oregon, and it is their last of the game. They only get 2, and once again, they're using it, I believe they're using it 1 round earlier than they did previously, and you usually want to, wait a little bit, maybe for a full rifle-on-rifle round, where you're going to have a clear advantage, maybe... not actually a clear advantage, but a clear possibility to do something clear. You are going to have theoretically clear advantage over the rifles that Minnesota have, right? They have bulldogs. Maybe they want to force up to a vandal. That's going to be it. You're going to have the economy. The thing is, you are so far behind that you are forced to use the timeout early, because if you go down, then Minnesota are just 2 rounds away from getting their map pick win.
Yeah, 100%. And this map has just been all Minnesota, all the important rounds, all the important swing rounds going in Minnesota's favor. I mean, this map is just, it reminds me of last week. It's just looking like a stomp against Oregon on Haven. And it looks like a little bit of a repeat from that pistol round, sort of trying to wait out this A long, and then this splash coming in out of the Minnesota side. They know he's trapped here in this corner. The aftershock coming in, but Gonu able to wall and then fakes it. He does stay in this corner. The first kill going in Oregon's direction with Wakeless being able to spray through that wall.
Yeah, and it is Crow that goes down for the Gophers, so they're not going to have all that firepower with their duelist. But at the end of the day, when all players are fragging the way they are, does it really matter when you're not losing any utility? I don't think it does, but the numbers advantage can weigh very heavily in favor of the Ducks.
Yeah, 100%. And now we're going to see this reclear coming out of Minnesota from short here. This Sova and this Phoenix are going to walk up into the rifles of Oregon. They pick the first one, and now Gonu, it looks like he's going to opt to keep walking up, keep getting that. He just heard all of Oregon run away, so he's going to keep getting that info. Oregon going to try to brawl onto the C site, but two players here still from Minnesota, that Omen and that KJ with that stall.
Let's see what Varxera is capable of. We've seen the Demon of Seaside and Sammy here playing the crossfire. Is Sammy going to be able to get any? No, Varxera and Sammy both go down as it is now just Gonu. Maybe electing to die to the spike here. Maybe try to get some exit frags. Is it really worth it that much to keep a Bulldog? Remains to be seen. They know Wakeless could be in this corner, but that Omen is just not going to burn. Some shots fired here and there, but the crossfire is going to be too good. A Wakeless, his third of the round to give a flawless that Oregon needed in the rifle round.
And yeah, just Oregon winning that A long space again, just like they did on pistol. I mean, it seems like they definitely came into this attack side. Maybe that timeout, they came into this attack side with a sort of plan to prioritize that A long, like you do on this map, Haven. I mean, that's the strength of this Breach and this Neon, is that they're able to sort of fight with that stun, with that slide. They're able to fight quick into A long and rip that space. And now you see Crow is actually sitting on top of B site with an opt this round holding mid, but it doesn't look like any Oregon players are going to opt to fight mid. We have Gonu walking down mid as well. Oregon takes long away from them, but Gonu's all the way up window right now. Finally, that cam gets him, so Oregon is aware of this player.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only a matter of time before Crow starts to play that operator in A main, right? They've seen Luka go into that spot time and time again. And I mean, Crow right now at 21 frags has 9 more than the next player in the lobby. But for the moment, Wakeless and Muka are going to combine for 2. The execute becomes explosive from the Ducks. They have numbers advantage. This is not what Minnesota want to see. 10-6, sorry. It would not be a terrible scoreline. They would still have a big advantage. They don't want to go down as the dash from Crow into the side does get Muka, though. What a beautiful quick scope as well on the repick. Are they going to be able to get anything? They have not spotted the barrel of Uguay's gun, but they're going to get the kill anyway. Oh, but in the span of a second, Ryu, Wakeless, and Gokim combined for 3 as the Oregon Ducks come away and deny the operator.
And yeah, like you said, literally in 1 second, it seemed all 3 Oregon players were able to get their kill, win that 3v3, and good attempt out of Minnesota there to try to work that round back in their favor. I would have personally opted to save that op, but Crow just keeps proving me wrong. He gets 2 picks on that entry. However, he does eventually fall with that round going towards Oregon's favor. And now Minnesota pushed back onto a light buy. They do have these jet knives, which they're going to opt to pop. Gamble stack towards C, but they're gonna break it right away. Oregon, once again, they're doing this sort of cautious A long default. They have this stun, they have this slide, they're conditioning taking that space away from Minnesota, and now it looks like they're gonna just want to walk up A and hit the site. And honestly, this is a great read because as you can see from Minnesota's side, they're choosing to gamble towards Garage and towards C with just Ginsburg sitting back deep heaven on A.
We've seen how good Minnesota are in these low buy rounds, but that was on Sunset. That was a very, very different map. Haven plays much differently. The question is, how are they going to be able to react to this post-plant? Very, very heavy execution on side from Oregon, but there's really no one to clear here. The side is completely empty.
Yeah, 100%. They're able to get this free site. And I wonder how this retake is going to go with this Phoenix and this Jet, because they don't have that stun from Breach like you normally see on this map. It looks like they're having a little bit of trouble. Ooh, but interesting and creative wall there out of heaven from Gono.
That's one. That's two from Crow. Oh, he gets three with the knives. This man is a demon. This man is a menace. He has been activated. Ryu, though, with the kills. It is now numbers advantage for Minnesota. If they are able to recover some of the rifles, they might be able to run away with it. But Mook and Ryu, they shut it down immediately. 7-10 for the Ducks.
I mean, Crow coming out of spawn with 3 kills on the knives. I mean, this guy just looks unstoppable. Even on the rounds that they're not supposed to win, even on the eco rounds, he's coming out with that 3K out of CT. And it looks like he wanted to just, he was trying to just rip that round away from Oregon. But luckily, Muka able to get a 2 kill in that 2v3, get it back in Oregon's favor, as it should have been. I mean, Minnesota came into that round with like 3 deagles and knives. Like, it should not have been that close. But I mean, Crow is just on an absolute heater this game. I think he has somewhere around like 26 kills already, something like give or take around there, and he's just having a great game.
I would not be surprised. Like I said, when he picked up the op, he was at 21 kills. The next closest player, I believe, were Ryu and Muka at 12 apiece from Oregon. Then a couple Minnesota players on 11 off their own. But just overall dominance in terms of the kill feed for Crow. The problem is Minnesota, they're getting a lot of kills, but they're not winning a lot of rounds, at least not on their defense. And the question is it going to be the same story as Sunset? Is it going to slip away from them in the defense, or are they going to be able to close it out? They just need 3 rounds, but Oregon also only need 3 rounds to tie it up, and then it is anyone's game. So the Gophers calling the timeout here, trying to regroup. Now they've got the rifles. Let's see what goes on. Oh, Muka already deleted. Varxera's positioning just perfect.
Yeah, Muka not clearing that corner on that quick take there. It's obvious Oregon wants to come out of this with a very, very fast take. They're going to keep running it down. And Varxera able to work a second one in backside, keeping that numbers advantage in Minnesota's favor. And Ryu is on this late mid lurk, but I mean, Sammy literally jump spotting. They know that this guy likes to lurk. And now the breach ult coming in from Oregon to delay a little bit. And Ryu, great job to get that kill. And then has the Cypher ult off of it.
Yeah, those 2 kills from Varxera earlier on should have given Minnesota potentially the round win, but now they're going to be struggling here. There are trades abound, and now it is going to be Ginsburg all on his lonesome. No information for Oregon, but Wakeless is on fire. This round gets 4 and puts the Ducks 1 step closer to tying up this game. The Gophers right out of the timeout still cannot convert to defensive round.
And Wakeless, that in-game leader, able to tear that round back. I mean, Varxera did such a good job getting a free pick on that entry and then getting another one on C, but Wakeless just by pure force of will able to get that round back in Oregon's favor and keep clawing their comeback into this game. 8-10 now, still in Minnesota's favor, but 4 straight rounds for the Oregon side. And it looks like they're going to go back to this default that they were running with this A space. Gonu going to fight a little bit more aggressively short, but just jiggling it. He just wants to fight a little bit slower, and Crow's going to opt to walk down mid. We do have the Cypher cam out of Ryu, so they're, Oregon's able to see that. Maybe come back here, re-clear this guy that walked down with this drone that's coming in right now.
The Gophers holding still for the moment, but they just don't have the weapons. Maybe a trap here from Crow. He has been hitting his shots. So the gamble stack into B and garage a little bit could work for the Gophers. Ginsburg spotting here in A long, the likely target for the offense from the Ducks, who are going to try to walk into sewer. Shots fired, so they know there is at least 1 player here and they have to speed up the execute.
Yeah, off that contact there from Ginsburg, they're just going to run right into site. Full site exit coming in.
Ginsburg?
And they're able to pick off Ginsburg on the site, ending in now a 5v4 retake in Oregon's favor. We do have this flank out of Crow here, but I doubt he's able to do anything with just a deagle.
surely been heard. Yeah, the pings come through. There are several ultimates online from the Gophers, and Ryu is going to take down a player. Wakeless as well, taking down that Phoenix. Oh, there is a TP onto site. Sammy with what could potentially be seen as an overheat, but suddenly the players are at 2 versus 2. The camera is still on the bomb, so they potentially could know when these players are here. There is a recon dart as well. Go to gets 1, go to gets 2!
Oh my god, the run and gun!
The Gophers, they get it done! Go to the hero. We had not heard about him in quite a while, but the Phoenix comes up big to stem the bleeding, to give the Gophers a much needed breath of fresh air.
Yeah, getting that round. I mean, Gonu, he's been having a little bit of a quieter map, but definitely showing up there where it matters. In that 2v2, low time, he's able to just walk into that smoke, run a gun, spray both Oregon players with that Spectre, and a little bit of a blunder out of Oregon to lose that retake there, especially with better guns. So you know that's got to hurt for Oregon. They're going to go back to fighting this A control, hopefully try to work this game back into their favor. But finally, Minnesota's refighting A. Crow all the way up short. Uguay getting picked. And he's going to have this flank on the long players.
Yeah. The Gophers finally acting on that A trap. They make it work. And even if they lose Gonu, they have so much control of the map. This Ryu flag does not expect Crow. And this should be map point for the Gophers. Muka may be able to get one here. No, Sammy is going to be good for one, and Ginsburg on the crossfire. And that is Minnesota needing just one more round to send us to a deciding map of split.
Yeah, 12-8 now in Minnesota's favor. I think it'll be interesting if we can see Oregon force another buyout here. I'm not sure how their money is doing after losing 2 rounds straight, one of them being a thirsty out of Minnesota's side. So now, if you're Oregon, okay, you do have a bye coming out here from Oregon, so they're able to get one last shot into this comeback. They need 4 rounds straight here to tie it up and take this game to OT, and they're gonna go for that slower A pressure that we've seen out of this team. It looks like Minnesota doesn't want to fight it as hard as last round. Just have Ginsburg there, and he instantly re-swings and almost honestly takes Luca's head off before falling back out to short. And it looks like
shock dart is good for some chip damage as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it looks like all this A space was kind of a bit of a fake. You can see they instantly just went back all the way towards C, and now they're going to rip this execute.
Yeah, Minnesota. Oh, they have the numbers. They should be able to retake some of this. The spam comes through, and actually it is that's gonna end up taking a bit of damage. No ultimates online for either side, only those Omen relocations. Maybe could be good for a flank, but probably not going to see a lot of impact from them as the execute starts. That paranoia is not great. There is a shock dart. There are trades abound. Sammy for 2. Sammy for 3. How many more can he get? This Omen could give the Gophers the win that they need. Pro is good for the 4th, and Ryu is not long for this world. GG, the Gophers send us to split.
And yeah, taking this to a map 3. Map 1, 13-9. This map, 13-8 in Minnesota's favor. Going towards, is it? I believe Bind is now the decider, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I thought it was split.
So yeah, taking this to Bind. I mean, that was just such a great game out of Minnesota, and Pro especially. I mean, look at him here at the top of the leaderboard, almost dropping a 30 bomb on Jet on Haven against Oregon.
I was deceived. I was hoodwinked. I was under the impression that the 3rd map was split. But just like you said, we just saw absolute cinema from the Gophers, and especially from Crow, getting multi-kills, getting clutch kills, getting confirmation kills wherever he was needed. He answered the call, and that gave the Gophers a much needed map to victory. Now the question is, what is going to happen on Bind the Decider? After all the bans, after all the picks came through, only one was left standing, and we will see who wins that and who wins the series on the other side of this little break. Don't go anywhere.
I Want to taste the waste of the 70s. I was made for the live-long life of traveling. Oh, see it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, yeah. I need to see it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, I wanna see it all, yeah. I'd give anything just to leave this town tonight. I'd give anything just to leave this town, leave it all behind. Want to taste the waste of the 70s. I was made for the live-long life of traveling. Oh, yeah, I was made for the live-long life of traveling. See it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, yeah. I need to see it all, yeah. I wanna see it all, I wanna see it all, yeah. I'd give anything just to leave this town tonight. I'd give anything just to leave this town, leave it all behind.
And there we go. I believe we are finally back for our third and final game of the evening. My name is Alligator, and I am with Grox tonight, a perfect partner in crime for this wonderful showdown that the Ducks and the Gophers are showcasing. They have both taken their own map picks. It was 13-9 on Sunset in favor of Oregon, 13-8 in Haven for the UMN Gophers. Now we are going away to bind the deciding map. And I was just checking during the break. A few of the results have come through this week. As a reminder, 3 games played per week. UCLA defeated Northwestern 2-0, and the Wisconsin Badgers took a surprise win against Nebraska, courtesy of a forfeit from the Corn Huskers. So we might be able to take a look at the standings, at least talk a little bit about them after either the Ducks or the Gophers claim victory. But Grox, we're going into bind here for game 3. Tell me a little bit more about what you expect to see, especially in terms of compositions, knowing what we know, how the map is played by the pros, what we've seen in terms of comfort picks from the Gophers, from the Ducks. What are we expecting here?
Honestly, I'm hoping for a little bit of a off meta comp from both teams. I mean, we see that the Gophers like to do this kind of weird throw a wrench into the mix comps with that Phoenix on Haven and then that Yoru on Sunset. So hopefully we see another comp that kind of plays towards their strengths with pulling out something unexpected. Because I know that the Duck side, they run that Harbor and they run that Yoru here on Bind. So they're running a little bit of that off meta comp, bringing that Harbor back into play that we saw was so prevalent on this map back in the day with that double wall, that Harbor and that Viper. And I just want to touch on something real quick before we get into this game. I did see in Discord, Minnesota was streaming Oregon's Bind VOD and VOD reviewing right before the match. I saw when we were doing bans, I saw that they were watching this Bind game, so hopefully they have some stuff prepped for that as we go into Bind here.
All right. Very, very interesting to see. As you mentioned, maybe some potential picks from the Gophers, especially from the Ducks. I do have to say, I have a very strict rule for my premier team. And incidentally, we're going to be playing Bind this week, and I have already told them if we play Harbor on Bind, we need to do the PRX Forsaken COVID needs to miss every round. Otherwise, you're not playing it properly.
Yeah, we have had some incidents with that cove landing on just random spots on the top of the map. We would take like screenshots from scrims of just that cove sitting like, oh, new smoke has been unlocked, new one way has been unlocked. But hopefully now in the match we don't miss that. And I'm ready. I'm ready to see this map 3. It's been a great series so far. Players have been playing out of their minds. I mean, Crow is on a heater. We have Ryu and Muka coming in as those freshmen, just shooting their gun with that zoomer aim, that young aim, you know, that Fortnite mechanics. And it's been a great series so far. I'm so excited for it to go to Bind.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Crow yet on the raise that we could expect from the Gophers here. Definitely the most prevalent agent in this map. We have seen Muka on the raise, but if they elect to run Yoru, then it could be a different story. We've seen the Gophers run double Duelist. We've seen them run double Initiator. I believe they did run on Sunset. So choices to be made here on Bind. I believe we are waiting on the players to ready up. Now the question is for me, the Gophers have started attacking in back-to-back maps. They are, I'd say, clearly more comfortable with those rounds. They did technically not go to the break with the advantage on Sunset. They did so on Haven. But I dare say that out of these two teams, maybe Minnesota are the better squad starting on the offense. The problem that I'm seeing right now is they are starting on defense for this lobby. So are you expecting the same level of success if they start on defense first? Or are you maybe expecting the Ducks to go to the side change with the advantage?
I think that with Minnesota starting on this defense, they're not going to be able to set the pace as much as they are used to. I feel like their attack halves look so good with these defaults and reading the map. I'm sure it's Ginsburg that's calling those mid rounds, and it looks so good here out of the Minnesota side. Whereas defense, it seems like they're a little bit more lost, but they do have a little bit more trouble trying to mid round when they do end up down a man or in like 4v4 3v3 situations. So I think it's definitely going to take a bit of an aspect into this match, and hopefully Minnesota is not able to build that early momentum that we saw on the Sunset and on the Haven. And we just wanted to say, just real quick, shout out to Nora from the University of Oregon for observing. The stream we've had some technical issues trying to get into here. So for sure, shout out to Nora from UO for being amazing on that observing and getting those 3Ks, getting those crazy plays from this series.
Definitely deserved props. Much love to Nora. We are seeing very, very interesting things, and if you did not spot them while we were loading up into the lobby, I'm telling you, the Gophers are running no Sentinel. the Ducks are running no Sentinel. Both teams opting for a double controller, double initiator composition. I believe, aside from the Harbor Brimstone, we have a perfect mirror compositions. It is going to be a showdown for the ages right here. And it is Oregon starting on the offense.
And yeah, it looks like already Minnesota want to come out kind of swinging here. They're going to instantly push down this B long space. As you can see, actually they just jiggle and give it up, but they have 4 players gamble stack towards B. Now you see that walk down coming through from Minnesota. They're just running all the way down this B long and winning that first fight against Ryu in mid.
Oh, Ginsburg just has that confidence, but is Muka going to swing with the equivalent? Yes, he is seemingly chunking down that Viper from Gonu. Very, very low. Gonu, a true flex. We have seen plenty of rolls from him, and now he is going to be taken down to the next round. As maybe Oregon start to think twice about what they want to do.
Yeah, now coming into this 4v4, it looks like Oregon's gonna opt to end towards this A site here after they killed that lurk or killed that push up there from Minnesota, and they were able to re-clear that long space. Now they want to go in towards A. Gonna be a 4v4 post plant. They're gonna be able to get that bomb down for free, burning a lot of util to do it. I wonder how that'll factor into this retake here as Minnesota comes here into backside.
Now with that high tide from Harbor, you don't have to care about clearing the site while you plan. Now it's going to go down, and the flood comes in from Minnesota. Plenty of utility. They are aware of where the Ducks might be, but Gokum is going to take down Varsera, so no wingman. Actually, yes, he is still on the bomb, but Uguay and Muka and Wakeless are going to combine for 3. And it's kind of hard to get accustomed to these players on the new agents, but we do have a round win from Oregon so far, showcasing great post-plan fundamentals.
And yeah, good to come out here with this pistol round. I think it ties back into what we were talking about with Minnesota being a little bit weaker on that defense. You see they opted to do a quicker push down long, almost as if they were trying to push the pace of this game, take that pistol round really quickly. And now they're going to gamble stack B, which right now seems like the right read here out of Minnesota. As you can see, all 4 Oregon players here in B long. And Muka just going to destroy 2 people swinging. But there's 3 Minnesota players sitting behind. And it looks like Oregon may want to end here onto this site.
Oh, the nade? I mean, I was going to say, Minnesota didn't take into account the variable called Muka, but seemingly, Oregon didn't take into account the variable called Fearless Gophers, and suddenly, it is a 3 versus 3 even numbers, and I'd say health advantage for the side of Minnesota. The only thing that they don't have is map control and guns. Right now, those are the 2 most important things.
And they're going to be able to pick up those 2, I believe it was 2 full rifles that were dropped by those Oregon players that they killed. So they're honestly going to have a good chance into this round. They're going to be a little bit later on this rotate. As you can see, they're still in B. Looks like they're going to opt to take that TP towards Xiao. Actually, they're all going to go triple flank. Maybe they didn't grab that gun earlier. They're trying to go find it now. And they're going to be really late to this retake here. But hopefully they should have a rifle or 2 to work in. And it looks like they're just completely flipping the map. They're the attack now, coming from showers and from short.
Oh.
First kill going in Oregon's favor now, 3v2.
Oh, Gokum is just too good. That Vandal shot too crisp. They could not find the rifle because Gokum had taken over it. Sammy with 1. Wickless is going to find those 2 with a Guardian. And the second round is converted from the University of Oregon Ducks as they go now up 2-0 here in Bind Map 3.
And once again, that economy that we've been highlighting this whole series, Oregon losing 3 guns there on that buy round against the classics of Minnesota. So now we're going to come out here. We're only bringing 2 or 3 rifles into this bonus round from Oregon side. Looks like we're going to start with a sort of long default again. Muka picked immediately by Crow.
Gotta be careful with that. You forgot for a moment. That Crow is crowing. That Crow is shooting. And you got burned if you are the Ducks, but still with the potential for offense here through Hookah.
Yeah, it looks like the Ducks are going to just opt to try to walk up, take some of this B space, maybe work a pick back in their favor. But you can see Minnesota, Crow and Gecko just working all of that shower space. They have all of that free info there outside of showers. It looks like they're going to continue to walk up a little bit, just absolutely getting so much info for the Minnesota side.
Smoke's down.
And yeah, you see the pings on the map. It's clear Minnesota knows they're towards short. They're going to have a good timing here on this flag short.
Oh, there it is. Varxera with one onto Ryu. Already wakeless. Trades, but Ginsburg gets a kill. Varxera gets the other one. Now with a classic right click and onto the dome of Uguay. The Gophers convert the round. They needed to win that third round bonus.
And yeah, only losing Crow there from Minnesota's side. And you know, early bird gets the worm there in showers. Crow is able to pick Muka off, instantly making that a 5v4 for Minnesota's favor. All they lose is one gun. They're able to keep 4 rifles into this round, keep building that economy up. And now from the Oregon side, one off of your ult, they do have Gecko ult. Maybe choosing to bring those ults into this round, try to get this third round and win this second gun round.
That's exactly what they're going to be looking to do. But the Ducks got good fundamentals. They're going to try to go heavy on that Gecko ult. The thrash through Hookah is going to catch. I believe, yes, it is Ginsburg. And now Muka doing him the favor of dropping him. Gona spotted here by the Prowler. The fight over on B Long is going to force that Viper to go through the TP, and it's going to be a rush, a mad dash towards that B site. Once again, the Gophers playing full retake.
And yeah, and the strength of this Gecko too from the Oregon side, they're able to re-pick up that Gecko ult. Hopefully we should see it again in this post plant. You can see it just came back. It just reloaded for him in his inventory. So now with this Minnesota retake coming in, and there's that ult coming back in to try to stop this retake.
They don't know where the players from Minnesota are, and that allows Crow and Sammy to get 2, to get 3, could be 4 if they were able to take down Wakeless. Yes, it is! And Sammy and Varxera, I believe, combined for all 5 kills. The Gophers coming back from a 4 versus 5 retake to a 3 versus 0. And the bomb defused, and that round that you said they needed to win 2-2 now on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and that's going to push Oregon to a low buy. And that Gecko ult, like we were talking about, it just wasn't able to find anything on site. All of those smokes here from the Minnesota side were able to hide their players. They were all sitting on top of boxes, trying to run around those smokes, so that Gecko ult wasn't able to capitalize off anything, didn't get any info. And Minnesota was just able to get all the trades in their favor. So great retake there from Minnesota. And now it looks like Oregon's gonna, with lighter guns, sort of opt to brawl over here in showers. But Minnesota's here too. We're gonna see an absolute bloodbath from Crow, getting 2, finally traded out with this Bucky 200 Fortnite. Now coming into a 3v4 in Minnesota's favor. Crow again getting that first blood.
Oh, heads up play by Minnesota to try to deny the rifle, but it is going to be picked up by Muka. Still the numbers advantage that you mentioned. Now Ryu, having been spotted, has to dip, and they know that Muka has a Vandal.
And look at all this space here taken by Minnesota. I believe it's Ginsburg there on the fade, all the way in Banana. In enemy lines, he could be buying guns right now if he was attacker. Just pushed all the way up. He has the whole entire map, and Minnesota feels very comfortable with this round. They're going to go crunch on these short players. Ryu with the 1D, but Sammy with the spray, just able to take both Oregon players out with the 3rd on the round, and another round falls in Minnesota's favor.
Sammy on Daddy Brim has been absolutely fantastic. For the past 2 maps has been fragging just as required. And now Oregon calling what feels like a maybe premature timeout. We discussed on Haven just how early they call that timeout of theirs. I don't know if it was after round 4 or after round 5. So at a very similar spot. It was different. They were defending back then. Now they are attacking, but still Minnesota having figured them out. 3 rounds on the string and the economy broken for Oregon. So could very well be a 4th and even a 5th if it gets out of hand.
Yeah, I believe Oregon may be able to sneak by with a buy into this round. And I think that these early timeouts that we've been talking about, they're really just trying to stop like Minnesota's momentum early. I kind of like it. I think some of them might be a little bit premature, but I like using the timeouts as opposed to like holding on to them for too long. I feel like using them early is better. So I do like this out of Oregon. They should be able to get a bye into this round. Maybe they're calling some sort of strat with this Harbor ult coming into this attack. And that stuff that we said about Minnesota being a little bit weaker on the defense, we haven't seen yet. They're able to start rolling that momentum early here, 3-2 in their favor.
3-2, indeed, very much in their favor. Like you said, the potential for Harbor ult, but also the ults for Minnesota.
Yeah, 100%. And it looks like Oregon wants to keep kind of defaulting here towards B long. Minnesota with a 3-stack here. They've done such a great job to hold this B long space. Gecko's going to pick his flash back up. Now Oregon knows that there's 3 players there, 3 Minnesota players there in B long. With that, Ginsburg able to throw that fade eye deep too, get no info off of it, and now Minnesota's going to instantly re-walk up and take that space back, which is going to let Minnesota know that this A hit is coming, but I'm not sure they can do anything to stop it.
Whoa! Crow certainly can. He takes down Muka. Ryu, though, gets the trade. So even numbers in favor of Minnesota, though, with that life very, very low on Ryu and no plant online. The TP has been taken, though. It's going to be the fight for Showers. Wakeless gets 1, Wakeless gets 2, and Uguay gets the 3rd. Although Varxera got 1, it is a 1 versus 3 now for the UMN captain Ginsburg with the Haunt and True Prowlers in his hands. Trying to be careful here. Ryu has been dropped low, but I believe the other 2 players are both full health. The Cove has broken on its own now. So Ginsburg having to worry about less and less utility as time goes by, having to worry more and more about the clock. 2 players right here hiding behind the high tide and Showers. The tap comes through. Is Goken going to be spotted? Yes, he is. 1 goes there. Maybe the spray. Yes, it is. On to Ryu. And now it's a 1 versus 1. But Uguay is too good for it. No awareness of where the last player was. And Ginsburg, despite trying his best, does not win the Fade We Fade duel.
And Ginsburg's still able to take a couple more guns out of Oregon's hands and work his own way up to that ult. And these mid-roundings by these teams is just so beautiful to see. You see Ginsburg with that call to re-clear long, and then they're able to TP towards Sammy Showers. But Oregon with the mid-round to go, everyone just go push Showers, forget about the plant. Let's just go play Valorant, go shoot back. And it's just it's been a great battle of the IGLs this series, I feel. And it looks like we're going to see sort of the same approach to this round. This eye coming from Fade and this flash coming from Gecko. Going to try to work some of that util out of the Minnesota side in B long here. And Minnesota has been opting to put 3 B long these past couple rounds, really prioritizing this part of the map.
Minnesota now with a Thrash, trying to get Wakeless. Oh, but trying to shoot that Gecko ult. Maybe some distraction happened. Minnesota now, they might be able to get that one back. There was a mark from the Haunt, so they know Uguay ran away, and Muka getting kills elsewhere in the map might indicate the plans from the Oregon Ducks. But Crow is here in this corner. Are they going to clear him? And there's 1 kill before the Nightfall comes through. There's the Prowler. This should be the race from the Gophers dead, and indeed it is. Muka getting his 2nd kill off the round. Now, numbers parity. Gophers having to go for the retake, and Uguay very, very low on life. I'd say 30 or below.
And here comes the second Gecko ult again out of Minnesota. They're actually going to be able to get Gaukum with it, and Gonu's able to pick Yoru backside. They're going to invest the Nightfall as well in this 3v2, and Oregon just backed up into a corner here in U-Haul. Uguay low HP, Gaukum forced to fight, doesn't get the kill, and it falls in Minnesota's favor again. They use those retake ults, but they use them perfectly. They're able to get it detained with that 2nd Gecko ult and use that Nightfall to figure out where both players are.
Well, that's exactly what you want to see if you are a UMN fan, as myself. That's pretty much a perfect retake, or as perfect as it gets, right? You said it. They invest 2 ults. But those ults are there for a reason. They're there to be invested. They still have the Orbital Strike and the Showstopper, and they are only 2 away from Gonus ults. And with the way he has been fragging, he hasn't gotten a lot of kills for a while, but it's going to be a scrappy by only a Hero Rifled Vandal on Muka.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, these pistols coming in for Oregon, they're not going to be able to do much. It looks like on this eco, we do want to see sort of a different look. We're not going to do that default B long space. It looks like we're going to try to sort of walk up Hookah here, take a little bit more space in the mid B part of the map, and maybe sort of forget about B long and not prioritize it as heavily as we were.
Oh, the TP sound was there, but it was the Roomba, and now one body was spotted. I believe they did only see Sammy, so the Gophers maybe have faked out the University of Oregon Ducks. Crow here backing out, maybe thinking about a potential use of the showstopper, as Muka is going to be the one in charge of the entry. The Dizzy has gone through. Nothing spotted. There's a TP onto side. Orbital strike, though. Good for Sammy while he gets the kill. Crow, though, taken down. And that's another showstopper that we don't get to witness. That Sammy takes down Muka. And now the weapons are just better for the Gophers, are they? As Uguay makes good on that Sheriff. The plan, though, did not come through. There is a TP. Where are the UMN rotates going to be? All the way at A. Well, they're going to have a fast path through their own spawn.
And still no guns here on the Oregon side. They're working with a Ghost and a Deagle. And yeah, it's just going to be cleaning the slate, wiping the slate clean here for Minnesota. They're able to convert that anti-thrifty, anti-eco there. And now 5 rounds in Minnesota's favor to Oregon's 3.
Curious right there why they're not feeding Gonu the ult orb. I don't believe Arxera is anywhere near that. I guess they just don't have a plan for that Viper spit, that ultimate, but we know we can be so strong on the defense. So UMN, I guess, with some questionable choices. Maybe when you're up 5-3, when you're rolling like this, I think you can make all the questionable choices you want.
He's too busy giving fist bumps to his teammates to, worry about the 50 is. They're celebrating too much right now. So yeah, great round out of Minnesota there. It looks like we're a little bit of deja vu here. We're gonna see this Gecko ult now coming through. Misses the
Crow
detain
is just
though.
too much for them.
Yeah, and yeah, that pick towards A on that lurker, and now Minnesota has all of this map space. I'm not sure they're gonna clear Sammy here.
Or not for now, but the Euroclono is going to be shot. So now maybe some space afforded here for the Ducks as Sammy and Crow fought together. Oregon are going to scale up into an empty A site. The retake from the Gophers once again flipping the map.
And yeah, I mean, these rounds are just so scrappy. They're so fast-paced. We see Minnesota TPing there. Now they're all going to come through short here into Oregon's post plant, flipping the map, planning for CT, trying to play that post from CT spawn.
A heads-up play right there from Oregon to plant onto backside. Not a lot of people would think of that under pressure, but Gonu and Crow are going to combine for 2. And now, all the shots. We said Gonu wasn't fragging out as he used to be, but now he is. And the Viper Spit is going to be invested for the post plant. Oh, the weapon barrel. It was seen. There is a seize right now, but the reload does have to come through, and the spray as well. Uguay is going to run out of bullets, and the spike!
Oh my god!
Uguay got it!
At the last 0.1 seconds, at the last second, that last bullet travels through the Viper's pit. Able to get that 4th round for Oregon, and what a swing round. Now look at that. Look at the money on Minnesota's side. They're gonna get a couple rifles into this round. 3 rifles into this round. And 2 Deagles. And now this momentum, it feels like it's gonna go back in Oregon's favor.
Oh, that is just tragic. UMN invests such an important ultimate like the Viper Spit, and they're not able to win off the back of it.
Yeah, 100%, and just great individual round from Uguay. He ends with 4 on the round there for the Oregon side. And we see this B walk down again. Minnesota really putting a lot of stock into B long. Hopefully, Oregon should be aware that this is a possibility. They do clear it, taking some gunfights. Both Minnesota players very, very low now. They're going to opt to go wrap around spawn instead of refighting this with their lesser guns.
Chunk down. Not looking good for Minnesota as Oregon seek to put the 5th on the board. The equalizer once again. The Dizzy is good. Uguay claims to the hero from the previous round is called into action once again as Muka finds the 3rd. And only Sammy and Crow left alive. This dynamic duo that we have seen fighting together before. Gonna be fighting once again with a judge is Crow. So probably the best tool to push here into Hookah. But not a lot to work with as 5 players still alive from the side of the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, the Ducks really just want to try to hold onto their guns here. Crow is going to be able to upgrade to a Vandal. It looks like they're going to take a shot at this. Maybe try to take some of these guns out of Oregon's hands. Try to work up maybe this showstopper for Crow. Get a couple picks here in this 2v5.
Oh, they just don't have it. Gokum at close quarters is too good. And I was wondering, whose Vandal was that? Clearly from the Gophers, but I don't believe we got to see the scoreboard before that round, so we didn't exactly know whose hands that rifle was in. There is timeout being called right here for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and my question to you, Crocs, is what do they need to get back into this game? They were looking so good for a stretch right there. They were up 5-2, I believe, maybe 5-3 at one point. Since then, they have conceded so many rounds to bring them to 5-5.
Yeah, I think that they came into bind with this game plan of fighting for this B-long space, making sure that Oregon can't get B-long. That might come a little bit out of the ANSI stratting that we talked about earlier, because with this Gecko and Fade, Oregon does like to prioritize that B-long space with that eye, with that haunt, and that Gecko flash. So I think that the game plan is good. I think that Minnesota now needs to make an adjustment. They're becoming a bit predictable with these walkdowns, with these space walkdowns, and we see Oregon has started to default a little bit heavier. They're starting to play a little bit farther back. They're re-clearing. They're sort of becoming accustomed to the fact that Minnesota does like to walk down. So what I'd love to see Minnesota do here is hold some sort of trap play. It looks like they do have the Gecko ult, if I'm not mistaken. So it looks like I would want to see some sort of trap play with this Gecko ult, maybe towards late long, maybe towards showers, something like that. Switch the pace up, let Oregon walk up, re-clear that space, and then hop out on them.
I heard it from the men from Oregon what Minnesota needs to do to win. Now, there is a clone fake out here. The shots come through. Muka wins the aim duel, but Crow is there to trade. The main smokes, though, gone for the Gophers.
Yeah, and that trade definitely goes into Oregon's favor. That 4v4 does not lean towards attack. And you see this walk down coming down again from Gonu. Ginzu able to get that pick onto the Viper. And I said stop walking down, but I mean, clearly I'm proven wrong as Ginsburg able to get that pick. But triple TP, 2 of the Minnesota players are still here fighting. And Crow is able to kill 2.
Is just too good. Uguay finally taking down this race, and now it is a race indeed. It is everything to be fought for here, and another TP ring around the rosy. Play us some silly music because players be chasing players around in this lobby. Numbers advantage though for the Gophers.
And yeah, it's going to fall onto Uguay, this fade again. Both of the Minnesota players are flanking. And we saw it that one round. Uguay was able to come out of that clutch with a 4K and have that round go in Oregon's favor. You see the pings coming out on the map here that, hey, these Minnesota players could opt to flank here. Uguay choosing to sort of just hold towards CT here. Minnesota players walking up long. This 1v2 is going to be hard, if not impossible.
Do they see the gun barrel? They don't, but the shots miss from Uguay, and Gonu is good for the trade. Time ticking down, but plenty for this Viper to get it. And Minnesota out of the timeout, finally get one back.
I mean, these two teams are just going blow for blow right now. We see so many close rounds. I mean, 1v2 that round, so close. Uguay brings it down to a 1v1. I feel like every round, like, these teams are so evenly matched. It's like barely a blowout. Each team is just coming down to really like, how can you force one more round in your favor in those clutch times, in those even man advantages. And right now, leaning towards Minnesota, who are up 6-5. They're bringing the Raze ult and the Gecko ult into this round. And it looks like Oregon, all 5 players here towards B-long, maybe trying to go back to that old default. They're going to speed up here with this Nightmare. but that Viper Molly is just going to stop all the space. But Muka
Oh.
TP's up and able to pick Gonu.
That's the TP play that you want to make when you have the Nightfall. The deafening effect does not let you hear who is coming through, and now there's a TP onto site. Thrash and Harbor are all going to come through. The Gophers, they have ults for the retake, but the Viper Spit is also present now that the orb has been grabbed for ultimate out of Oregon, and now Minnesota on the retake. They don't want this half to end up 6-6 like Sunset did. They want that 7-5 now. Ryu having to exit the Viper Spit due to the Thrash and the Showstopper being thrown around. Utility abounds. Ginsburg gets the one with the Bulldog, and Crow gets two. Oh, you know this race, this duelist is always good for Minnesota. Now Varxera are going to combine, and the Gophers, they're able to hold on strong, and 7-5 will be the scoreline at the half swap.
And yeah, now like Minnesota with that retake, another man disadvantage, and that's what we were saying every round. Sammy, even with the extra 2 kills on the round, able to get a couple more of his own teammates just for fun. But it's what we're saying. Every round is so close. That 5v4 in Oregon's favor, and somehow Minnesota is able to push through that Viper ult. Crow getting that spray transfer 2K on the retake. And it's just looking like both teams are playing a good game, and Minnesota has ended up with 7 on the half.
Minnesota with a very, very strong defensive half that was showing that they needed. They are 6 rounds away from glory, 2 more than the 8 required, or 2 less, I guess, than the 8 required by Oregon. They have the advantage, but this pistol is going to be crucial.
And arguably, it's their better half here on the attack. But it looks like Muka and Oregon want to fight all the way through this util. There's one behind him. They don't clear him. Crow is able to get 2. Nobody cleared
and
close
they
right,
missed so
Crow
many
was able to
shots.
sit in that corner. And yeah, a little bit of whiff on the mid player as well. And now just Gotham here on B. Not able to do anything. Gets 1 for his troubles. But Crow with a 3K on this round. Ryu left in, honestly, a hopeless 1v3.
Planted.
I mean, I'm just an imposter here in the Oregon broadcast, and this makes me unreasonably happy, but playing the part for a second, this is devastating to see for the Ducks, as a round that could have easily gone your way just slips away due to basically shots being missed. Those aim duels are just not good enough, and Ryu makes it closer than it should have been, but at the end of the day, the numbers advantage was just too strong for the Gophers. But the 8-5 on the scoreboard should be 9-5, and if Oregon somehow lose the 3rd round of the half, that would mean the Gophers go up 10-5 with the mental, the momentum, and the economy on their behalf. You really don't want to think about that.
No, you definitely don't, especially if you're me. I'm sure you're having an amazing time thinking about that right now, thinking Minnesota getting their first win here in Big Ten in this 2nd week of play. And that was just a bit of a blunder from the Oregon side to not clear that corner. I hope they're able to brush off that tilting round. And now coming into this round, they're going to opt to 4-man push short with these classics. All of Minnesota here grouped towards B. It's all going to come down to timing here in mid. Is Minnesota going to execute on the site before Oregon gets this flank off? And it looks like that eye is coming through. That dog is coming through. The flash is coming through. They're going onto site. So how valuable will this flank be with these classics? Because now it seems that Sammy on this Brimstone is turning around, kind of checking it a little bit. And they might be aware of this.
They seem to know when I believe maybe a player was spotted there. They know that some sort of flank is coming through. Varxera and Uguay and Gokum all with kills. So numbers advantage for the University of Oregon, but maybe the reload there. No, Muka is good for the kill, and it is all coming undone for the Gophers, at least until Ginsburg gets that kill, but that go protecting the wingman. Little guy is going to get it done, and yes, the defuse does come through. The Thrifty from the University of Oregon is good, and they stem the bleeding just at the perfect time.
And we were just talking about what they need to kind of get back into this game. We were thinking about now that Minnesota had that force last round against the Classics, it was going to be 9-5, maybe looking towards a bigger lead for Minnesota. But that's exactly what the doctor ordered, winning that full Thrifty. It's going to bring that momentum slowly back in Oregon's favor. Hopefully they can string some rounds off of it. And now their economy is going to be really, really good for the next couple of rounds because they didn't buy anything into that round.
I'll find you.
And it looks like out of Minnesota here, they're going to opt to try more towards the A site. As you can see, 3 or 4 players there towards short, trying to group up with those lesser guns. They like to do this Ginsburg kind of fake
There is
pressure
just
here.
one little for this round because there seems to be a killjoy messing up with my tech at home.
Okay. Well, once you're done being detained, we'll hop back into the cast. I'll try to do a little bit of both right now. As you can see here, it looks like it might be a little bit of a freer site, except for Sammy getting picked above that smoke there. Minnesota's going to get this plant down. They're down a man here in the 4v5 with the lesser guns. This Oregon retake should come through soon. As you can see, the Gecko's a little bit late, so perhaps they're waiting for some util to come back into this round. Gonu gets picked out on triple. The rest of Minnesota sitting behind a wall. Good swing timing there by Scarecrow, but he can only get one with that classic. Traded out. 4v2 now in Oregon's favor. With that wingman on the spike again. And Ginsburg is just going to be too late into showers with his sheriff. Not going to be able to do anything into this round. Is able to farm a little orb up right there. It looked like for a second that Oregon wanted to maybe let him live there with that deagle. But good round from Oregon. They didn't lose too many guns, I believe just 2 there. Able to do a clean retake onto the A site. And if you're Minnesota, you're not too mad about it either. You ecoed into that round and you were able to get plant down.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was about. Sorry to leave
welcome
you
back.
hanging dry in that round. But yeah, like I said, some tech issues. Maybe Sombra crossing over a little bit from Overwatch. But the Gophers, like you said, another round that they are okay with. Maybe they shouldn't be proud of it, but they're not gonna beat themselves over it either. The problem is though, the Ducks bring it back within 1, and now it is Rifles v Rifles. Gophers claiming or trying to claim map control, but a thin spread for the Oregon side might spell disaster for Minnesota if they're not able to counter it.
And yeah, now Minnesota's shifting back towards more of an A hit right here. You can see the hit's gonna come through here soon once Raise and Fade come into short. And it'd be interesting to see what Minnesota uses on this hit because they do have that Raise ult that can come through short. The Gecko ult comes out from showers with the Raise ult from short. Full execute onto the site.
Oh, you'll have to see it from Kroba traded away from Ryu. This Viper, previously Cypher, has been so good for the side of Oregon. Now they're going to get that plant down. A bit of an unusual entry spot, but the plant is going to be at the usual place. Now the defenders here trying to go again for the thrash, but they spot the players. They know where they're coming through. Sammy with a great smoke spam. Great for 2. Gonu for 3. Gonu for 4. And that is the Gophers out of nowhere. Great on the post plant to bring the difference back up to 2.
And yeah, this team just looks so good right now. Not only is Crow sitting at 21-16 so far this game, but the rest of this supporting util, you see Varxera able to use the second thrash into backside, and then Sammy swings off of it, gets that first kill to give him the man advantage, and the rest of the kills all just fall in Minnesota. And I really want to just highlight this Minnesota team looks so strong in those scenarios where it's more scrappy, there's more chaos, they need to be playing more as a team. They look so solid there. All the trades fall in their favor most of the time, and it looks like they have just worked really well as a unit.
They have been working absolutely fantastic, exactly how they need to. They're forcing another timeout here out of the Oregon Ducks, who can feel this maybe starting to slip away from their hands. Only 4 rounds required for the Gophers to claim victory here. Like you said, in week number 3, it would be the first for the Gophers since they got a victory, since they got a bye actually in week number 1. Same actually for the Ducks, so both teams would go on to a 1-1 record. The question is, can Oregon come back? What would be their keys to success here on the defense?
Yeah, they really just need to figure these retakes out. make sure that they're able to work maybe some first bloods into some round conversions and try to get some more rounds back in their favor. 9-7 now in towards the Minnesota side, and they are taking up all this B space again. They're able to get Long and Hookah here from Oregon, and it looks like they might just speed into a sight hit, as you can see with this dog with the splash coming in.
Sammy is good for 1, but Ryu is always going to be good for 2. And that flash from Muka is incredible. But Crow, oh, you know, all these players are going to be good for the kills. But at the end of the day, there is only whom you would want to have this as a tip of the spear. Uguay, though, sits him down. And now there is a high tide from Harbor, from Gokum against Gonu. And with the help of Uguay, I know this rotate is coming into the A site, and the plant finally confirmed to have come through.
And yeah, Gonu with barely any util. And yeah, it looked like he had a chance into that round, but he's just so low HP there. 40 HP, just takes 1 body shot to get him out of the way. And that's what we were talking about. I mean, we wanted to see a better retake out of Oregon, and they're able to fight actually for the B site much better. And Ryu, once again, getting 2 kills on that jump out. He's had a little bit of a quieter map, if I might say. He's not shooting back as much as we would have hoped. He had, I believe, 2 kills-ish at the half, but now coming into the second half, it looks like those timeouts really helped him. He's heating up a little bit more, shooting back, and now Oregon has 4 ults to work with into this gun round.
Yeah, that's going to be a very heavy investment if they decide to go for it, but it would be so worth it to get on par with Minnesota, who seem to be going very heavily for aggression here on A short, where the Viper's Pit has been spread by the defenders, by Ryu, but Crow is going to be good for 1. Ginsburg is going to be good for the Viper, actually, and now Muka is tasked with taking down Ginsburg, but there is a big ultimate that has been burned, is another one going to be burned here as soon as the plan goes through. I would expect that dimensional drift to come in from Muka, trying to scout out the UNMN players. Finally sees 2, but there are a lot of them unaccounted for. Uguay on the retake, but Crow is going to be good for 1 kill. Is the spam going to come through? No, the Dizzy makes it impossible to go through those boxes. Is the defuse going to be in? No, Gonu takes down Uguay, and now it is the lone fighter of Wakeless to try to deny the Gophers their double digits, but Varxera is good for it, and that Gecko mirror doesn't go the way that the Ducks wanted. 10-8, the lead back up to 2, and the double digits in the hands of the Gophers.
And I mean, it was such an investment there out of Oregon into that round. We talked about how they started with 4 ults. They used 3 of them there in that round and did not get it. It still went in Minnesota's favor. And now Oregon's going to be pushed onto that eco again. I mean, we've seen a lot of thrifties in this series. I think this one is arguably the most important one. We have here Minnesota going to start with mostly some A pressure again. It looks like they really liked the last round where they were just able to execute A and take the site out of Oregon's hands. This Nightmare going to come in. Oregon does have a 4-stack here. Uguay able to spam one through the orb. Pushing it into a 5v4.
It is Crow that falls down. Sammy does get the trade, but the main kill maker from the Gophers went down very early. The rest of them, though, the guns advantage are just too good. Ginsburg and Varxera in the span of a second combined for another 2, and just as quickly as it started, this round fell.
Yeah, and good try, good idea out of Oregon there to gamble stack, but those kills just didn't shift in their favor. And now, if you're a Minnesota fan, you're feeling really happy about this. You're going into this 11-8. You have 3 really big ults to work with. You have 3 big site exec, 2 big site exec ults in this Showstopper and in this Thrash. And when you do get on site, now you have this Viper's Pit. So if you're a Minnesota fan, you're feeling really good about the pace of this game so far.
I should be feeling good about the pace of this game so far. Like Rock said, just 2 rounds away now from claiming victory here in the deciding map of Bind. The Gophers, maybe, we didn't think they could have the advantage in this series, but they have proven us wrong. Now players spotted in U-Haul, in Lamps, whatever you want to call it, and there is a showstopper online here from Crow. Not the best misses, but Ginsburg is good for the kill. Ryu, though, with a trade on to Gonu, even numbers right there, trying to get out of this possible trap with the help of a little bit of Thrash. Could it find anything? No, it gets broken before it finds anything. Wakeless now having to deal with a counterpart. Varxera does have this Thrash. Is it going to be utilized? Oh, yes it is actually. Now, is it going to detain anyone? I think it might have.
Detained 2 in backside.
2 in backside, and now Crow is going to work up forward with the help of Sammy. Gokum did get 1 kill, now taps the defuse, but time is ticking low. The headshots, though, are coming through for Gokum. A 1 versus 1!
My!
And Harbor gets it done for the Oregon Ducks, but there is just, it seemed, not enough time. Actually, there is plenty. I cannot hear the game. Those headshots have deafened me, and the Ducks stem the bleeding at the point where they needed it the most.
An amazing round out of Gotham, one of the freshmen on this roster. He's able to end with a 4K, and that round looked like Minnesota had that, bringing them to map point, but Gotham able to rip it back out of Minnesota's hands. He builds up to that harbor roll, and now we see that timeout coming from Minnesota, hopefully try to stop that bleeding a little bit. And 11-9 now on this 3rd map. I mean, it has been a banger so far. I can only hope the map continues to fulfill its promise. These teams seem so even right now. I mean, Minnesota just playing with a little bit more of that edge. It seems like Crow is just able to give that extra little edge. He's still having a crazy series right now. 11-9 in Minnesota's favor.
I mean, at this point, we're just talking about potential overtime between these 2 teams, despite the Gophers being up 2 rounds. We just saw that crazy clutch from Gokum on a harbor, right? A duelist would have been maybe more expected to find that. Even an initiator like Varxera, like that Gecko that Gokum was up against, but no, the controller still gets it done, still can find all those kills, all those headshots as well. Very crispy shooting. And you've got to think, despite the Gophers being ahead, despite them just being 2 rounds away from victory, the possibility of overtime is a very real one. It is maybe what we would deserve here in Game 3 with the way the series has been going.
100%. And coming into this next round again, we see Minnesota prioritize this A space. But look at this walk down out of Oregon. They're completely walked down B here. I wonder if Crow's going to be able to turn in time if he has the awareness for this. But it looks like Minnesota kind of wants to speed up towards A. It seems they have no idea that this double, triple flank is coming in out of Oregon. But Minnesota keeps pushing towards site. I wonder if this flank will get any value.
Well, if they get into the positions that they want for the post plan, then it might not matter at all, because sooner or later, these positions are going to be revealed, and Ryu indeed gets 1, but Crow tucked away here safely in U-Hole. I believe there was an orbital strike, and there is a Viper Spit on point. The 2 controller ultimates being invested very heavily, but there is a Cove to go against the Wingman to let the Wingman come through. There is a Molly. There is everything on site, and the kills fall the way of Minnesota, 12-9. And that delightful banner, Attackers 1, on display for all Gopher fans. And I have to admit, to the heartbreak of maybe some Oregon Ducks might be watching the stream, my friends, I am terribly sorry for you. But your economy is virtually gone. You are 3 rounds down just to force overtime. What are you going to do here, Grox?
I mean, yeah, you saw Oregon try to get a little bit more aggressive, but it seemed like they didn't really want to commit to that short walk. So this round, it really just depends upon, are they able to use those lesser guns to work some picks? It seems like they opted to go walk down short and leave B to retake. And Minnesota has a good read. They're 5 long here. It looks like they're just going to run a full B exec, smoked off hookah, and they're just going to have a free sight here.
free site indeed. And the plant and the kill from Sammy. It is all unraveling, coming apart at the seams for the Ducks from Oregon. Muka cannot find the kill on that tight angle, and now the flank is going to be found out. Oli good for 1 kill, so there is a Vandal to be recovered from Vark Sarah's body. A very singular Vandal, and now the defuse is tapped. The Gophers trying to flood out against the Oregon Ducks, and it is Ryu against the world, and it is just not enough. The Ducks were sitting comfortable in their pond, but they cannot fight against the owners of the Thousand Lakes. The University of Minnesota Golden Gophers claim victory 2-1.
Amazing series there out of Minnesota. I mean, absolutely lights out performance, especially from Crow. Ginsburg, the calling, they looked so smart, so intelligent there, and it was just a great series out of both teams. But congrats to Minnesota. They were able to get it over the line in their favor.
That momentum was just a bit too much to handle for the Ducks at that point. Unfortunately for them, Minnesota just seemed to be on a roll at one point. Their attack side was, I have to say, much better than I expected. We saw glimpses of it during Sunset. We saw as well quite a good showing in Haven. And finally, in the end, I believe we were progressing round by round. Wasn't the scoreline 13-7 in the first game, 13-8 in the second, and 13-9 here in the last one? That would certainly be an interesting fact. But, you know, it is everything on hindsight. It has to be said, the Ducks, they played very well. I mean, there's really no shame in losing like that to very closely matched teams. If you flip a coin, the result is going to be the same as if these teams played 1,000 times. 50-50, well-deserved victory, I'd say, for the Gophers. Would have been well-deserved for the Ducks as well.
100%. Very, very well fought from Minnesota. I think the key to victory there was Minnesota was able to work their momentum. You saw them do a lot of aggressive things on defense. They were able to push into Oregon's territory, able to get kills, and able to really like push the focus of the round in their favor. They were able to control the pace. So really, really good fought victory out of Minnesota. That was a great win from them.
That was definitely a great win from the Gophers. That is going to put them at 1 apiece, like we said, in the standings. Let's take a quick look at them. They have been updated in the big esports conference website. We can also take a look at the schedule if we want for next week. Now let's see what we have on the cards. It is going to be UCLA against Minnesota and Oregon against the Wisconsin Badgers. And for the standings right now, UCLA standing at 2-1, having played 3 games already with a 5-2 game differential. On the other side, the Wisconsin Badgers, they are standing at 1 apiece with 2 maps won, 2 maps lost. 2 of those maps won, however, it has to be said, and their 1 win come from the forfeit that they just had today against the University of Nebraska. So I think Oregon can look up ahead. The Ducks can hold their heads high, proud from the match today, and look to regain next week. The Gophers, whom I'll be going back to as soon as we are done with this broadcast. Maybe a bit of a tougher challenge up ahead against UCLA, but from what we saw today, I dare say they are in a good spot. They should definitely be proud of what they did.
100% excited to see how these next couple weeks go for Big Ten. I'm excited to watch some Gopher matches. Hey, Ginsburg, keep calm like that. I mean, it's just honestly, I feel blessed to be able to watch your guys' team. It was great to cast with you today, Gator. I appreciate you for coming out. I love casting with you. I'd love if we could do it again. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Not us, but Big Ten will be back next week for more action. Follow at Big Esports Conference on Twitter and YouTube to make sure you have all the updates.